Because yeah, it's going through the stream. Like my internet is going. There we go. Seems to
Oh,
have
it
gone
is
on.
now.
Yeah, seems to have gone on. Okay, I think we're back now. I think we are back now. All right, just hit load, reload. Tell people in chat to hit reload, please. If you still can't see the stream up, just hit reload. Sorry, were you just jumping in to tell me that the stream is down, or did you want to
Oh, pretty
discuss
much.
something? All
No,
right,
no, no.
all right.
Waiting for the servers to come back up.
Are you playing Lost Ark at the minute?
Yeah, I'm max level already. But the servers are down right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that the servers come back on and I can play as well. So
I don't know about that, mate. When the Founders Pack launched, there was 20k queues. So,
yeah, well, we'll see.
yeah.
Can I talk about new players' experience, if possible, about WoW? Definitely, yeah, of course. Do you want to talk in voice chat or do you want to type? Yeah, definitely. You're welcome. Of course. You're welcome to jump in. Snow Weasel, how you doing, bro? Wait, before you fucking jump in, let me just go grab some coffee. And then you can jump in and do... We can have a discussion. But I'm thirsty. And I want to stretch my legs a bit, so... I'll be right back, guys. Hey, Praetorican. Thank you so much for the gift and stuff. Did really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get some hearts in chat for Praetorican? Can I ask a question? It's off topic. Amagon, let me finish. Let me get some coffee. And then as soon as I get back, you can ask whatever question you want. But I need coffee right now. So I'll be right back, guys. All right, people. Some Invisible Cream. He is naked and reading chat. I could see chat. I have the app on my phone. So obviously I could see chat. Shadow, how you doing? All right. We are back. Death Knight, are you in?
Yeah, I am. You hear me good?
Yeah. I'm just gonna turn you down a little bit so that it's normal again, because I had to turn Lizard up quite a bit. But okay, so you wanted to talk about new player experiences.
Yeah.
In World of Warcraft. I'm all ears.
And I want to just ask you, like, with a question, like, how much you think new players' experience affect MMOs overall by World of Warcraft?
What do you mean by World of Warcraft?
Like, because any player who wants to go try MMOs, the first thing they would hear is World of Warcraft, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, any new player basically first would go to World of Warcraft, then maybe Final Fantasy, and so on.
Yeah.
So it becomes like a big filter of MMOs falling down the players.
Yeah. Okay. So first and
It's
foremost, I think it used to be true that whenever someone wanted to try an MMO, they would immediately be sort of hearkened towards World of Warcraft, and this would be true for traditional media. If you're a brand new MMO player, there's a very good chance that what you're consuming, for the most part, is media, so old school media. You're probably not consuming as much YouTube or new media, especially in the MMO space, as it were. Though those things tend to come second, and for some MMO players, not at all. So that would be the first thing. I think it used to be. Nowadays, I think there's a fair argument to make that a lot of the media, old school and new, do not put as much onus on World of Warcraft. So 5 years ago, the only MMO on the market was World of Warcraft. And I don't mean that physically. I mean that in the minds of most people. If you were playing anything other than World of Warcraft, you were probably playing the wrong game. Because WoW was basically it, you know. Everything else was sort of time wasting in between WoW patches. Most people played WoW. Nowadays, obviously, the landscape have changed some, whereas now you would always get this, if you care about story, Final Fantasy or ESO. If you care about raiding, World of Warcraft. If you care about PvP, Guild Wars 2. Or even Star Wars The Old Republic might get thrown around, although that seems to have been forgotten by most people. Now, new player experiences in World of Warcraft or in games in general. So we have to decide what the business model or business plan is for the company before we can start talking. A healthy business plan or business model for almost every corporation is one that sees very little turnover in terms of customers. So the retention rate of their customers is pretty high. And they see a healthy amount of new customers signing on. The only companies that this is not the truth for are monopolies. Monopolies don't really care about retention rate because there is no other competitors out there, and they don't really give a fuck whether or not they get new customers, because at some point someone's going to need something, and they're basically the only racket in town that can provide what they need. Now, I think it's did you want to say something?
Yeah, it was me. I want to say, in the Monopoly, I think, like, at least in my country, how it works is they are even more concerned about getting new customers because people aren't going to go away from them. So they want to force people into using their service even more, or get people to use their service.
If you're a true monopoly, you don't have to care. So we're talking about priorities. If you are a true monopoly, you don't have to care about new customers because they're gonna
interrupt.
Yeah.
I think a good example of monopoly would be Google, like the most used search engine in the world.
Yeah. Well, they're not. They would be probably one of the. So the best example of a monopoly would be something like Eskom, which most people don't know about because it is a South African energy company. But they are a true monopoly. They're protected by the government. No one else can provide electricity to the people, But Google is sort of a self-made monopoly in that they were just so much better than anyone else that they became the main player. Now, even for Google, you'll oftentimes see that they're not really... Like, Google doesn't do a lot of advertising. They don't seem to push themselves. If they were interested in becoming a true monopoly and getting new people, they would have probably already worked on their own operating system for PCs to try and replace Microsoft, because Microsoft is pushing Bing or Edge as hard as they fucking can, and it's not really doing it, Outside of Microsoft employees, no one's using fucking Bing or Edge. So they're not that worried, because they know, right? They know that if you're not going to use them, who are you going to use? And the answer is, well, probably no one, because who are you going to use? So for true monopolies. Now, that's not true for 99% of companies in the world. So they really care about new customers, because that's how you grow your business. You need to get new customers in. And even there, if we're starting to talk about profits, there's an argument that can be made. If you don't get as many new players, then you're going to try and monetize your existing player base to the point where they're almost at breaking point, because you have to start now maximizing profits in a declining base. Because if more new people don't join a company, it's almost always going to be a declining base. So slowly but surely, you're going to lose players. And now let's apply this to World of Warcraft. The reason so many people say World of Warcraft have been in a managed decline for the last 6 years, at least, is because not that many new people are starting to play World of Warcraft, and its existing player base is bleeding out every single expansion. So it feels like they're managing the decline to try and keep it going for as long as possible, whilst also monetizing their existing audience as much as possible. So this is sort of the first part that we have to flesh out before we can get to the question. Now, I'm assuming your question goes to the heart of what do I think the new player experience is in World of Warcraft, correct?
Kinda. I kinda wanna know, like, from veterans' standpoint, like, how much, and from my point of view. Because I tried WoW trial some years ago. My friends tried, my friend tried, some time ago, WoW. And after that, he didn't want to play any MMOs ever. Like, I told him, Final Fantasy, really good, way better than WoW. Starting experience, he told no. I tried WoW, that's it, the one.
So WoW basically got him completely off.
Yeah.
Alex, here's the title for this video. World of Warcraft shocks player out of ever trying World of Warcraft, ever trying MMOs ever again. That's sort of the working title. He might just not
like MMOs though.
No, but the thing is, there's another example. There's a streamer, Warcraft 3 streamer, sadly. So he also tried World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And after that, he told it was really boring up to level 10. I didn't want to play any more MMOs. It's probably not for me. So he's not gonna try Lost Star, he's gonna try New World, and so on. All MMOs is gone for him. I think it's a problem.
I think you have to understand that MMO is a very niche genre in terms of gaming right now.
Yeah, but the problem is, I think WoW's starting experiences.
I don't think it's any worse than any other game, honestly. No.
So I'll say this. I don't agree with you, Stolly. I think World of Warcraft starting experience is incredibly bad past level 10. So the new starting experience that they sort of built in, the island that you go to, that's pretty cool. It's pretty good. As soon as the player gets dropped into the new world, or the old world in this instance, it becomes a maze. I've watched enough videos now of Final Fantasy people trying WoW because they wanted to sort of see why people are leaving WoW, and all of them have the exact same complaint. They had no fucking idea what was going on with the story by the time they reached level 50, and they, at level 60, sort of wondered, why did they learn all these things in level 50, up to level 50, when it has nothing to do with level 50 to 60? So they were very confused about a whole bunch of stories, specifically because Blizzard now puts new players into BFA. And it's kind of like you're meeting, Anduin, you're meeting Jaina, you have no idea who they are, but they treat you as if they know you. So you're sort of dropped into this relationship where they're very much friends with you, and you're going, but we just met. Why are you being friendly with me? I don't know you. So This is sort of a big complaint, but this would be more a story complaint. And not everyone that plays MMOs cares about story.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's a fair point, and I can't argue with that, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I told you I just tried Final Fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from a gameplay perspective, from actually playing the game, if we're not counting the story, and I already told you what my stance was on that story.
Yeah.
The actual gameplay feel of the starting experience in Final Fantasy is almost the exact same as well. It's so fucking boring. I'm sorry.
Can I interrupt?
It is.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
The thing is with Final Fantasy experiences, you can do stuff before you go max level. In WoW, you cannot do much if you don't hit level 60 or max level. You won't do much unless you go RP or something.
Yeah, but we are also talking...
What much are we talking about?
Yeah, we are talking, though, when you say that... So I'll be honest, the starting... Final Fantasy is not what I would consider to be the golden standard for starting experiences. Because, yes, Yoshi P himself, I believe at one point said if he had the money, he would go back and change the starting experience. I think... Obviously, they would have loved to go back and make it more streamlined, make it not as horrible for new players, because it's a slow-ass fucking grind. It's why that meme exists. If you make it through ARR, right, you become a walking, talking advertisement for Final Fantasy IV, if you make it through ARR, because a lot of people wouldn't. But you are correct in that the way that Final Fantasy treats their content later on, so by the time you get to level 40, you have a plethora of activities that you can do that takes away from the main quests. You don't even have to focus on the MSQ if you don't want to. You can go to the Golden Saucer. You can go to Palace of the Dead. There's the treasure hunts that you can do. You can start doing jobs, the gathering jobs instead. So there's a lot of things that you can focus on in Final Fantasy that doesn't require you to just get to max level. But there is a difference there. Final Fantasy is one of those games that isn't designed to be at max level. It's designed to be a game from level 1 or maybe level 40, depending on how you look at it. Whereas WoW is very much an old school MMO. It's one of the reasons when I was talking with Lizard, I had the same criticism. Blizzard is very much caught in this old school mindset that used to work 20 years ago. What Blizzard is doing today worked 20 years ago. It doesn't work today. If you make a game today and you made a literal carbon copy with just the names changed of WoW, it would probably get almost no players. Because it's outdated. It feels dated when you play it. The only thing that feels fresh and fucking crisp in World of Warcraft is the gameplay. The gameplay is phenomenal. Outside of that, everything else just doesn't really hold up. Now, I will say, I think World of Warcraft has, of all the MMOs, it has the worst starting experience. Because the player is completely left on their own. There is no reason for a low-level player to ever interact with high-level players. And if you know anything about society, interacting with people that are your betters or that is higher up than you will be the reason why you work harder, because you too want to live in the penthouse. It will be the reason why you work harder because you too want to get a BMW. you want to get a beautiful girlfriend because all your friends have beautiful girlfriends, you know? So looking at people that is higher than you or more successful than you is a good way of getting people invested. In World of Warcraft, they've basically managed to build a Chinese wall between the max level player and everyone else. The max level player will never need to interact in a dungeon that is occupied by low level players. Will never need to go to zones that is occupied by low level players. So the low level playing experience in World of Warcraft is effectively a single player experience in a world that was very much at the time designed for MMOs. Right? It was supposed to be a lot of people around you. So some of the zones are very large and you're basically the only fucker running around in it. So yeah, I don't know how much of an effect that would have, because basically what I get from your question is you want to know if World of Warcraft is actually putting people off of MMOs entirely, and I don't think so. I think it's basically a mix. If you are in general not that taken with MMOs, you're most likely not going to like any MMO regardless of the starting experience, because and that is true. We've seen it. The proof here, if you want an example of it, would be Fallout. People love Fallout. Fallout is a very, very, very large IP. Then they brought out Fallout 76, which in almost every single way is a Fallout game. Yes, it made mistakes. You know, it didn't have NPCs, which made the story really weird. But in many ways, it is a Fallout game. You know, it was completely designed to be able to play on your own, but there are people in your world running around. And for a lot of Fallout faithful, that broke the very reason that they play Fallout. To this day, you see people playing Skyrim refusing to play ESO. Even though ESO is a brilliant MMO, they don't want to play with hundreds of thousands of other people. They want to play alone. They want to have sole effect on what the world is around them. And I don't necessarily... I think your friend or the streamer who didn't want to play MMOs after playing WoW, they were probably biased towards MMOs before they even started playing it. Sorry, Stolly, yeah?
I just wanted to say it's also with the like ESO and Skyrim thing is MMOs by design have slower progress than single player games as well, which
True.
is also why they probably think it's insanely boring.
Yeah, and I mean, just in general, the way you tell stories in MMOs is never going to be as in depth as you can do with a single player game, because there are certain choices that you can't give players in an MMO that you can give players. If you want to burn down a village, you can absolutely give a single player game the ability to burn down the village. If that village is part of the max level storyline, an MMO is never going to give you that choice, right? Just it won't, because how the fuck are you supposed to play the game then with other people? That being said, as I said before, and I would like to know what chat thinks about this as well. Do you guys believe that World of Warcraft can do better as a new player in the department of new player experience?
I think, yeah, but for me, like my argument, or what I was arguing rather, was basically just the fact that the idea that WoW is turning people away from MMOs in general, I don't agree with that at all. Like, as in new players.
I think it can, because World of Warcraft truly does give new players a very skewed idea of what an MMO is supposed to look like. So even veterans, if I speak to people who's never played a different MMO in their lives, WoW is the only game that they've ever played, they'll say things, they'll say things like, yeah, like Lizard. I don't want to call Lizard out here. I actually love the point that she made there. But, grind is just part of MMOs. And it's like, no, grind is part of WoW and a Dark Age of Camelot and EverQuest and RuneScape. Grind is not part of the average MMO. Most modern day MMOs have done away with that grind. They've replaced the grind with story, and they've moved the grind to purely cosmetic means. So if you want to look different, you can grind it out. But if you
Yeah,
just
but
need power, there's not going to be much grind there.
that is a different argument in itself, because we're talking about new player experience, and there's not much actual
but
grind
remember,
as a new player.
Remember,
So-
for a new player, they might eventually get to max. Now,
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like I'm talking about the first, like 10, 20, 30 levels. I don't think that will turn away people from MMOs if they were gonna play other MMOs.
so I think that's where our scope is different. I don't look at the
Yeah.
first 20, 30 levels, because in that regard, I absolutely agree with you. Almost every MMO on the market is the same from level 1 to level 30, right? There's very little difference. The only game that would stand out to me there as different would be Star Wars and ESO, because from level 1 to level 30 is 100% story. Fully voice acted, just story stuff. Very much single player RPG kind of shit.
Yeah, for me, it's like with my definition, like new player experience would be up until you get to max level, and then endgame is fucking garbage in WoW. But for me, that's a different story.
Yeah, but I view the new player experience, even the person that sticks from level 1 to max level and then max level, I can definitely see how WoW would put people off the MMO genre in general. Because most people look at games and they go, so this is this game, all games, and we don't just do it with MMOs, we do it with first-person shooters. You'll get people who play COD for the first time and they'll be like, fuck it, I hate FPS. And it's like, yeah, but there's like a shit ton of other FPS games out there. Old school Battlefield was fundamentally different to COD in that old school Battlefield went for these large scale epic historical battles, and COD went for the more small map, hyper focus, hyper adrenaline kind of games. CS:GO goes for small map, hyper adrenaline kind of games. So, no two games are the same, but we look at games and we go, this is FPS, all FPS sucks. Or this is that, all of this must suck. So, in that regard, yes, I can see an argument where a new player playing World of Warcraft could be put off the genre entirely because they think that the whole genre looks like World of Warcraft. And to be fair, a lot of people play WoW nowadays begrudgingly because their friends still play it, or they have found pockets within the game that they make their own fun. A new player will not have enough knowledge on the game to create that pocket for themselves. So for that new player, all he has...
interrupt, Bish?
Yeah.
A little bit. So what I was listening overall, I think most people who would stick to WoW to level 60 is the ones who are hoping like from level 60 the game will get better. Like same as in Final Fantasy, people says like pass ARR, the game will be really good. So don't worry. So the thing is, the ones who try to push to level 60, they're there, and I saw like some time ago like a Twitch clip of some WoW streamers talking about like some guy just farming PvP,
Yeah.
and his gear like sucked because he didn't know how to get it. So he told all the chores of WoW you need to do,
Yeah.
and the new player quit.
Yeah, you're talking about. We watched these video. We reacted to his video. I can't remember his name now, but yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember the discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, that was for me like really shocking. Like I didn't even know like even for PvP, you need to do so much extra stuff besides PvP to be good at PvP with gear.
Yeah.
That was it feels like unnecessary. Like the person gonna play PvP because I would hear also about World of Warcraft like PvP is great. Like what I hear from Savix now is like PvP is going down to shitter from Shadowlands.
Can I just say something about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Blizzard actually tried to fix that. If any of you remember, they tried to make templates for PvP.
Yeah.
I think it was Legion, was it? People absolutely fucking hated it. Like they just despise it, and every other game is doing that exact same system, and people love it. So I don't know what to say to that. Like,
I mean, it's about tradition as well, right? World of Warcraft has always been a game about gear. if you remove gear from a gear-based game and you try to do it template-based, those templates first and foremost have to be incredibly balanced. The classes needs to be incredibly balanced to make it work. And in World of Warcraft, that's not always possible. Now, so here's the thing: we can't, in this conversation, we cannot speak specifics, because speaking about specifics is almost always going to drive the conversation in a circle. Because different people are going to like different things. One person is going to play World of Warcraft PvP and think, God, this is the best PvP I've ever played. Another person is going to think this is the shittiest PvP they've ever played. Same with Guild Wars 2. So you can't really talk about that. We can only talk about what could generally be true for the general player base. Now, for me, as I said before, whether you play Final Fantasy, whether you play World of Warcraft, whether you play ESO, Star Wars, all of those games, there is a very real chance that the first 30 to 40 levels, we could even say going to max level for some of those games, is going to be either boring or off-putting or in some way not really what they're interested in doing, you know? You can make that argument. There is one big difference, though, when it comes to every other game and World of Warcraft, in that once you do get to max level or to level 40 in Final Fantasy or in ESO, you get to where the story really opens up, then the game also opens up in front of you, and suddenly you're given millions of choices on how you wish to play the game. And no way is correct, no way is wrong. It really is up to how you wish to approach the game. Right? If you care about glamour, you'll have glamour. If you don't care about glamour, you won't have glamour. It really depends. Yeah.
Calling the FBI
Just
have
hold
been
up.
searching for days/weeks/months now, and they still can't find who asked.
What?
Ferorius, how you doing, bro? Thanks for the 100 bits. Really appreciate that. And it's not that anyone asked. It's that Death Knight asked. Death Knight said that he wanted to talk about this. So someone did ask. I'm literally talking to the person that fucking asked. But still going to take your money and spend it on hookers and booze. Okay, so yes, you're going to get... I've been a bit sidetracked. Okay, so all of these games are going to open up at some point, and you're going to get to play the game the way that you want. World of Warcraft being the singular exception in the MMO space. In World of Warcraft, you are going to reach max level, and you are going to play the way that Blizzard wants. You are either going to dungeon, or you're going to raid, or you're going to PvP, or you're going to do a combination of those three things. And then you'll grind so that you can do one of those three things. Unless you have enough knowledge of the game that you can carve out a pocket within the game that isn't one of those three things. Because the pockets aren't presented to you as options. They are things that you discover as you get to know the game.
I want to say that on a surface level, yeah, sure, this is true. But if you try to move it, a bit more towards the... I don't even know how to say this, but basically what I'm trying to say, there are a lot of other activities you can do. The problem is, and I think we talked about this the last time we spoke, right? But there are no rewards that incentivize doing anything else. And we are not talking about gear, because other games, you said it yourself, they don't give gear, they give cool transmogs and shit like that. But
yeah,
because WoW is so oversaturated with mounts, with pets, with transmogs, with all this shit,
yeah,
you don't feel like you want to do it. Like, I play Guild Wars 2, right?
yeah.
And in that game, I got to max level. What was my first? What was the first thing I started doing? Okay, I need to gear up. I need to farm shit to be able to raid. Do dungeon, not dungeons, fractals,
Yeah.
and all that shit. But on the sideways, I'm like, oh my god, that Griffin mount is really cool, and you can partially fly with it, right? So I'm like, yeah, I want to farm that shit. But in WoW, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that mount looks really cool. I'm gonna spend 2 weeks farming it, And it's the exact same shit. I'm grinding for a mount, just not for power increase. And
Yeah.
the problem in WoW, I feel like, is the fact that there's no incentive to do any of that.
Yeah, but I
Can I
mean-
interrupt?
Sorry, yeah.
So the thing was with the mounts in WoW, like what I would say, like the cool mounts now is basically from the store, and the ones you would get like look kind of garbage, like or the reskins. I
I
think
don't.
that's a bit hard to say because I think at this point WoW has maybe even too many mounts because of the reskins and so on.
Yeah,
So people is too hard to say which one is the cool mount and which one is like a big dick mount, which is like really hard to get
yeah. I mean,
because some you can get boosted to get and so on.
so I mean, the conversation is going beyond the scope of the original point, but I will indulge and say, okay, a reward is only a reward when that reward is rare, right? If the reward is literally abundant, in this instance, what we're talking about is if you have 50 different mounts of slightly different color variation, and you have 100 plus mounts launching with a single patch. I think it was in was it 9.1 that launched with like 50 something extra mounts, or was it 100 and something extra mounts? It was just a stupid amount of mounts. At that point, it no longer becomes a reward to get the mount. It becomes a chore. You're going to do a bunch of chores and you're going to unlock all of the mounts that there is in the game. Instead, that patch should have launched with 1 or 2 mounts, but that is incredibly difficult to get. So it's going to take some time. You're going to have to work your ass off. You're really going to have to try. I still remember the cloud mount that you could get in Mists of Pandaria. And you had to basically farm 10 of a specific item, and then you could capture the cloud mount. And if you could kill it without someone else killing it before you, it would be yours, right? That's an example of a mount that people are working day in, day out to get because it's rare. It's not just another thing that you're going to have to farm endlessly, mindlessly to get. So yes, World of Warcraft have turned, like we said before, into a 100% checklist game. Here's your checklist. You have this many Mythic Plus that you have to do every single day or every single week. You have this many bosses that you have to kill in the raid. You have this many mounts that you can farm. You have this many transmogs that you can get. Without any real incentive to get them, but more importantly, without any real path to figuring out that you even could. So, imagine you're a brand new player in World of Warcraft. You have no idea how anything works outside of, basically running around and casting some spells, not even necessarily in the right order. How would you even know that there are mounts that you can collect in the game? Like mounts outside of the ones that the story gave you. You wouldn't. There's no quest that tells you to go on a mount hunt. There's no real avenue that introduces you to mounts as a system within the game, unless another player tells you that, hey, you can collect mounts. You're not going to know. Transmog's the exact same thing. Unless you discover by accident that you can change the way your character looks, you're never going to know that there is such a thing as transmogs. Pet collection, the exact same thing. The problem there, and this is what I said from the beginning, if you are a brand new player in World of Warcraft and you get to max level, there are there's 3 activities obviously presented to you that you can partake in. If you stick and you keep playing, you will eventually uncover pockets within the game that you can exist within. And that doesn't require one of the 3 main activities for WoW. In almost all other games, this is not the case. In almost every other game, they introduce you. So, for example, Glamour. Glamour in Final Fantasy is introduced through a quest system. The quest tells you what Glamour is and how Glamour works. And this is how new players would discover it. The same with Materia. Materia is a quest line that explains to you how Materia works, how you extract it, and how you would make Materia for your gear. Every single activity in the game is introduced to the player as they play the game and as they do activities within the game. This is not the case for World of Warcraft. So if you're a brand new MMO player, so we're not talking about someone that comes from a different MMO, we're talking from a brand new player, never played MMOs. It is completely logical to think that that player would think there's nothing to do in WoW because there's nothing to do in WoW. They don't know about the things that you can do in WoW.
I want to talk about this part what you talked is like you say Final Fantasy shows how to get glamour and so on, but the thing is, you as well being teached while doing main story quests and your job quests.
Yeah.
The blue quest always unlocks something good. You basically you see the blue quest, you see okay, it will unlock something for me.
Yeah, yeah.
The other ones will be like it's some chore, I don't need it, and so on. And in World of Warcraft, I'm not sure. I didn't play World of Warcraft that as much. I don't know if there's something like that. I know they tried to copy Final Fantasy's maybe mentor system with the Murloc icon,
Yeah.
but that didn't work out. It's basically no one knows it.
So WoW's quest design is again very old school. Basically, all quests in World of Warcraft exists for a single thing, and that is to get you to max level. World of Warcraft as a game is designed to funnel you to max level because they don't spend time updating their older systems. There's so many old systems. I can tell you right now, if a lead developer for World of Warcraft ever came in charge of that game and said, hey guys, let's resurrect all of the old systems that we had in World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy and almost every other MMO is in trouble. There isn't a single game on the market that has as much potential content within their game as WoW has. There is expansions upon expansions worth of content within WoW that is waiting to be untapped. Hundreds of dungeons in World of Warcraft that is basically waiting to be untapped and unlocked for the max player base, for all the player base. Raids. World of Warcraft has countless raids that it can unlock for the player base. So it will be a game that basically you could play as much as you want, as many hours as you want, and you'll almost never be able to finish it. There's just too much to do. World of Warcraft doesn't approach their game that way. They basically forget about all of their content a week after it's released, because then they start working on the new content that's now going to replace the old content in anyways. So getting back to the original, before I'll give you a final chance to sort of bring up if you have another point that you wanted to discuss here, but just bringing it back to the original discussion, I do believe, I do agree with you that I think WoW, if WoW is the first MMO that you ever play, you made a very big mistake. You should have tried a different MMO first, because all other MMOs are going to give you far more enjoyment once you get to max level, unless that enjoyment is raid or dungeons. Because in that sense, I would say World of Warcraft is probably still the king, with Final Fantasy being a close second. But just for pure raiding, and the only reason WoW wins out in this is because of class design. The way World of Warcraft's classes are designed makes raids a lot of fun, because it's very responsive, it's very easy, you hit the button and it immediately does what it does. Final Fantasy is a bit of a learning curve, it's a lot slower, more methodical, more strategic. So I would say in that regard WoW still slightly wins out, but in all other regards, and when I say slightly, I do mean slightly. I don't mean this as the gap is wide enough that you would even necessarily be able to see it unless you really pay attention. But yeah, in all other regards, I would say WoW is just miles behind any other gaming company right now when it comes to their game. Anyways, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I do. First of all, you told playing WoW first would be a big mistake. I agree with that. I think if I start to play with WoW first, I think I would not be here talking or getting interested in MMOs overall.
Yeah.
And I want to bring up the second topic I told, you told, we can bitch and complain about it, but what we can do, to actually fix it, to say it. That's the biggest question would be, what we can tell WoW devs, what you can do, it's not beyond the limitations of the engine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not reinventing the code or something like that. I think changing like the job quest icon, like for WoW, like to different color, it wouldn't be too difficult, would be like the
Yeah.
same icon they put everywhere, just put a different color, and that's it. It will be similar like with the mounts, like different colors, change it, and that's it. Like it's actually will be a little bit easier for the players navigate. Like, oh, this is the main quest. I actually need to follow. Oh, okay. The red one is the main quest. The blue one is for something to unlock, and the white one is just for some extra story if I care about the story.
Yeah.
It won't. It will not be like too much.
So I would
What
say, yeah. Sorry.
I think what WoW does really good, it would be like just a little side quest. It would be like the blue one. It would be like you can be dangerous. It will go in the wild. You may enter a dungeon and show how a bit the entrance into the dungeon looks like. Because when I saw one of your videos of FF14 player, like he got into dungeon blindly alone, which
Yeah.
was I don't know, that was a problem. So at least like a warning, because I love that system. Like you venture around you and you see like a dungeon. Maybe you can have a good gear. You want to try to do it alone. It'll be cool. Like I like that kind of part of WoW. But it would be nice also like give a warning to the players as well.
So I would say the main the second part of your question is actually so easy to answer. So first, let me focus on the quest bit. Yeah. So from a questing perspective, World of Warcraft already highlights what the main storyline is. The biggest problem within World of Warcraft is outside of the main storyline, there really isn't much that its quests would unlock. There are no real cool side stories in World of Warcraft, like absolutely zero. If I'll give you a very good example, right? At some point, you get the quest where in Shadowlands where you have to go back to Azeroth and talk to Alexstrasza. That is a single quest line that as soon as you're done with that, you get sent back to the Shadowlands to continue with the main storyline. There could have been so many offshoots of that where you learn about dragons and the Shadowlands. What happens to dragons? And these would be entirely side quests that you don't need for the main storyline. But if you wanted to know more about dragons in the Shadowlands, you could absolutely learn about it in these side quests. And there's many more like this that Blizzard just doesn't pay attention to.
I think there's only one single quest line that's a side quest, and people still do it sometimes, and it's the best example for what you're trying to say. I think it's the I think they removed it from the game now, but it's the Noggenfogger elixir quest line.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty cool quest line, but I'm not sure if
It
that's
was
still in the
really
game.
boring. It was fucking shit. It was long, but people
I
did it
liked
because
it.
it gave a cool reward.
I actually enjoyed it. But I guess that's because I mostly play games with music on the other side or a podcast on the other side. So
Oh yeah.
long and
I-
boring
I
is sort of
didn't-
my food.
I didn't mind it. Like it,
Yeah. But okay, so to sort of answer the second part of your question, or really the first part of your question that I'm getting to, secondly, what does WoW have to do to change this? That's actually the easiest answer in the world. Wake the fuck up and realize that you have a very large game just waiting to be played. Literally as simple as that. Recognize that there is an entire world worth of content that is sitting there gathering dust. You have the old Mage Tower that Blizzard now sort of brought back, but really in a very limited fashion, and again tied to limits in how often you can do it, which is stupid as fuck. Torghast is going to be forgotten at the end of Shadowlands, which is stupid as fuck. That should have been fleshed out and made into better content so that it can continue for all time. This is another problem that Blizzard usually have. They just give up on stuff. You have the island expeditions that could have been made much better, but it's sitting there gathering dust. You have in Legion,
Garrisons.
in Warlords of Draenor, you have the garrisons that's sitting there gathering dust. In even earlier in Mob, you have the farm that's just sitting there gathering dust. You have all of those capital cities just sitting there gathering fucking dust. It's all gathering dust, and it could be turned into actually good content. that people could still do to this day at max level and enjoy it. Instead, a lot of the time, these things are sort of relegated to people that still either find use in terms of low-level stuff, or maybe auction house stuff that they could get. So garrisons, people still use garrisons for auction house stuff. For the most part, mainly, most people don't do the garrison stuff anymore, because why would you? So this is, and then of course one of the big ones, the biggest sin, I believe, to this fucking day that Blizzard have ever committed was their complete and utter abandonment of one of the greatest systems they have ever introduced into World of Warcraft, class order halls. Class order halls would have been the opportunity for Blizzard to bring out class-specific quests in every single expansion that they ever release, where you get to see the expansion from the point of view of your class. So how does this expansion affect your class? Where you would have been able to experience power upgrades from the perspective of your class. If I can tell you now, if Conduits was a class order hall specific piece of content, it would probably have gone down a hell of a lot better than it being tied to Covenants. A lot of that player power could be moved to class order halls and could be made permanent if you design it in such a way that it can be permanent. So that would actually be, as far as I'm concerned, Blizzard's biggest sin, was that class order halls didn't become a permanent fixture within World of Warcraft. They were fun, people loved doing it. It was nice to have this little area that is just for you and your class. And people, I don't know why Blizzard decided that it has to go, because there's like that history book inside the class order halls that you could have continued to fill out. It was tied to your weapons, but it could have been tied to anything else, where you collect, as you continue with the class story, you collect more pages for this history book, for this book that tells you the history of your class, effectively. Which is small things, but so important when people wish to RP their class in a game. And that
can
really
I interrupt
hurts.
you?
Yeah?
I think the problem with that is because of the code. Maybe on which expansion was the class order hall?
That was Legion.
So yeah, so the person who worked on that, he's probably long gone from Blizzard, right?
Uh-huh.
So imagine put a brand new employee, like let's say he has like 5 years of coding, right? You put like the next to the oldest engine, which was made from rocks and sticks, and someone tells you, you see that system? Now try to implement it to this new expansion we're making. It
Okay.
will be a pain in the ass because you don't know how that person coded that one and
But
how it works. May take a longer time, but
I
Blizzard can do it, but may take too long.
could stop.
Probably that's why they don't do it.
So I could stop you there, just so that you... So first and foremost, everything in World of Warcraft is designed by teams. It's never just one person, right? So the people who worked on class order halls would have been a team of, say, 10, 20 people. And they would have had interns and younger folk working with them as well, who would have learned how those systems work. And not only that, World of Warcraft's engine is really nothing like the creation engine for Bethesda or some of these very outdated engines. They update their engine a lot. Remember, the team that works on the WoW engine, I can't remember what the engine is called, but on the WoW engine, because it's basically Blizzard have two in-house engines. The one engine makes Overwatch and Diablo, I believe, and then the other engine makes World of Warcraft. And both of these are updated incredibly often by their own in-house teams. It's actually one of the things that sets Blizzard apart from most other game companies, in that they only work on their own engines, and their engines aren't available for anyone else to use. It is theirs. They own it. So they don't license it to other companies. They basically just do their own shit on it. So they could absolutely bring it forward. I doubt that it is a coding issue. If it's any kind of issue, it's Blizzard's mindset around things.
Yeah, it may be because of mindset, because you know how Blizzard for the longest time was like the profits needs to come quick.
Mm-hmm.
So if the class or the whole takes longer than it need to make one expansion, it's we won't put people there. We can put people those to work on something else because it will be shorter time, more money, and that's it.
So the thing is, if you're doing long-term development, that takes a lot of effort and a lot of work. You long-term development, because it requires a lot of things. It requires content to really be thought about, because you can't introduce something in an expansion that will break if it continues to exist in later expansions. You have to think about, okay, we're going to introduce this much power to this system in this expansion, but we have to remember that this power isn't going to go away at the end of the expansion. It's going to be part of it. So we have to be very careful with how much we add and how we can scale that back in the future. World of Warcraft opts, like you said, for a more short-term approach, where they everything they do needs to be done as fast as possible, as quick as possible, and it is almost always designed around marketability. So we'll look at every single system that Blizzard have ever introduced. Covenants.
It's gone really quick.
Covenants basically drew the ire of most of the gaming community, even in the PTR, the alpha and the beta testing for World of Warcraft. People were not happy with the Covenants. Blizzard refused until the end to let go of their Covenant idea. Why? Marketing. It looks much better on the Shadowlands posters when people can choose who they want to belong to, and that's going to change the way they play the game. So it's 4 unique storylines within Shadowlands. The fact that they can market it is far more important to them than the actual utility of the thing that they're adding. This is why Blizzard goes for these very large, attention-grabbing systems, because it will assure that they can market it. That's something that you can't take away from Blizzard, because they seem to think that they live and die by these systems. And they are correct. They are dying by these systems.
I think it's not just the systems, it's overall experience, I would say. The grind, the system grind, and there's also like mechanics that makes you play every day. Like let's say after a month, you can do Mythic Plus like more. Like after the world first skill,
Yeah.
like after a month, like people don't have no more the you can do it only once a week and so on.
Yeah.
Like just to remove those barriers, like you would get people playing more. It's not just like, oh, look at the spike again at this day, it's really great. Look, investors, the game is not dead yet. I think it's really bad overall, because if people wants to play, they will play the game.
Yeah.
It don't needs to be turned into a chore or a job. It's like really bad game design overall.
True.
And
I think we've reached the point where we basically agree with each other. So if you have anything else that you wanted to add as a final, I'll give you a moment to add it. And then I'm going to get back to chat.
okay, so what I want to add at the end is just, I think for WoW to fix a lot of stuff, it would be to change the mindset overall, like
Yeah.
to not be afraid to let the players be free, not to be the prisoners in their game. Because if you're in the prison, you want to escape from that place. You're not gonna fucking be like, oh boy, I love it here.
Yeah.
I don't have no freedom. It's really bad.
Unless they can get you with Stockholm syndrome, in which case you wouldn't want to escape, which is what a lot of people are in right now. With WoW, is sort of Stockholm syndrome, where they're just not leaving because, it's what they know, it's safe. It might suck, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And it's better than the unknown. Anyways, Dark Knight, thank you so much for hanging out, dude. Really appreciate it. It was a very interesting conversation, very interesting topic. I think chat enjoyed it as well, because it sparked quite a bit of conversation within chat on these different topics. So really want to thank you for coming out, dude.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Take care of yourself, bro.
See ya.
Cool.
Yo.
There's news on boosting.
What's the news?
You know what the Oblivion community came up with?
Wait. Okay,
They are gonna get banned.
No, I don't give a fuck about being banned. I'm sort of
No,
asking.
not. They are.
Wait, who's gonna get banned?
I think they are gonna get banned with their new idea.
Okay, what's the idea that they
Okay, it's not called the Oblivion boosting community anymore. It's called Oblivion Marketplace.
have? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can just send you the screenshot actually, and that's the easiest way. Okay.
Yeah. Let's
The
fucking.
new announcement.
Yeah, let's see this.
How do I change that? Okay, I'm just gonna send it in multiples.
That's fine.
It's a long post. So that's the first bundle.
That is totally different disco option. Of course it is. It's called the marketplace now. It's not called the boosting community anymore.
I don't see how they are not getting banned with this. Honestly.
Can I show this on stream?
I think so. This is a public announcement on their Discord.
Okay, no, just as long as I'm allowed to show it on stream, we're good. Because I know some of the screenshots I've received in the past, I wasn't allowed to share on stream because people were afraid of names coming out and stuff. So I always ask people, am I allowed to, Can you guys read this, or is that good enough for you? Can you see? Because it is sort of very, not in focus, but...
I can copy paste it if you want, if that's better.
No, I think it's just small. I'm gonna try and make it as big as possible, but I'll read it anyways for you guys, so it shouldn't be a problem. All right, so they say, hey everyone, it has been about 10 days since we closed down following Blizzard's changes in terms of service. Today we are happy to announce that we have been working on new systems that would be within Blizzard's terms of service. We will not be following the steps of what most other communities are doing, as they are violating Blizzard's new terms of service, hence why it has taken us a lot of time to plan and create a safe and working environment for our members. Fuck off. Please, fuck off. We don't want a safe and working environment for your members. We want you and your entire community to die. Blizzard has specifically said that advertising in-game trade chat without participating in the boost is prohibited, which is why we will be prohibiting in-game trade chat advertisements as well as LFG advertisements. We will no longer become a boosting community, but instead will be creating a platform for customers with the ability to request services directly from our members. So what are they now just going to advertise the marketplace, and then in the marketplace people can basically request whatever the fuck they want to boost?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, they're basically just saying, hey, join our marketplace guild.
No, like the
of
difference
boosters.
is now we don't have to give money to the advertisers.
Blizzard has also stated that having a middleman involved is against the terms of service, which is why we will not be reopening the old booking system, booking request channel, that we previously had. However, we will be replacing it with two types of booking systems. Okay, but second option to be announced. That will make it extremely easy for you to book the service that you require. When you request a service, you will no longer be connected by a member from our support staff to sort out the details of your service you would like. However, a request will be sent directly to the teams involved depending on the type of service you require, which when picked by the qualified members will automatically create a channel between you and the team for them to proceed in gathering your info and complete the service you require. How the fuck is this different? You're still building a middleman. It's just no longer a man in the middle. It's a bot that you created to be the new man in the fucking middle. It's still the same goddamn thing. It's still exactly the same thing, you morons. Blizzard also stated that having a middleman managing the gold for people is against the rules, which is why we will no longer be involved with sorting any gold matters. The team that you get connected with are the ones that will directly pick payment for the service you require.
Yeah, sure.
That's not going to happen, and here's why. All of the teams that wish to partake in these activities will have to give the marketplace a kickback of the activities that they boost for. So they're still going to get their cut. The only difference is they're now getting their cut after you've given the money to the group and not before. So you're no longer giving the money to them and then they take the cut and give it to the group. You're now giving it to the group and the group will give the cut to the marketplace. Any groups that think, well, I'm just going to keep the money for myself will probably be kicked out. So it's going to be short-term gains for long-term losses. There's literally no change in this. You are still a middleman that created a bot that is the new middleman. You created the bot. You control the bot. You're still getting gold, which means you are still fucking breaking the rules of TOS. We have decided to create additional sections on our Discord that include the following. Community section for social interaction. A category for people to meet up and do activities together in-game. Basically similar to Blizzard's LFG system. Then why not just have Blizzard's LFG system? New Oblivion Market Major Section. A market section that is specifically EU-based, WoW retail, which will expand in the near future. However, we'll be creating a non-profitable ranking system where members can climb the trader ranks based on the number of reviews they receive accumulate using our reputation bot. Divine Trader is 100 positive reviews in a 30-day period, unavailable until further notice. Legendary Trader, 350 positive reviews, grants you access to premium verified section. All the way up to Trader, which 10 positive reviews and vouch grants you access to normal swap TCG section. Now, I will say this Divine Trader is most likely where most of the real money shit is gonna happen.
Yeah, people are gonna pay for it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be a Divine Trader. There's gonna definitely be. So this system effectively means that no Blizzard employee will be able to see what happens in the sections that is only available to Divine Trader. They won't be able to see it because the Blizzard employee would have to go through boosting 350 fucking people or 100 people in 30-day period so that they can get access to this section of the Discord where they'll most likely be discussing their real money trading. Highly important note. We understand that there is an already existing market for swapping TCG purchases, and these members have worked on building their reputation there, which is why we have decided to value members' ranks and give them a trader rank, so they're not required to start building reputation from scratch. How to apply for a trader rank if you are eligible and already have an existing rank in the other market Discord. Hashtag apply trader. Simply create a request here by creating a ticket and our market staff will sort it out. We have also decided to rename from Oblivion Community to Oblivion Marketplace, as we are no longer a boosting community, but a market platform that serves multiple purposes. Go fuck yourself. Oh my god, dude, what are you saying? Oh my Jesus.
I mean, I guess you can see what I mean by they're not gonna survive this.
Allowing you to purchase services from credible registered teams in a safe way without the involvement of a middleman. It is still a goddamn middleman, even if it is a bot, you moron. The point of Blizzard's TOS change was that if you and your friends want to boost people because you want to get some gold, you and your friends can boost someone for gold. But you and your friends can absolutely not advertise to get someone and then get someone else to boost them. Whether that be through bot, through script, or just an actual middle person. this is still 100% a middleman, right? You're still the middleman in this regard. Even PayPal would be considered a middleman. True. So reducing the risk of customers getting scammed by buying services in-game. High amount of scams are happening in-game. In brackets, for some reason. So we would like to create a safe environment and a safe platform for people. Market section for people to swap gold with reputable traders. Now, I ask you all again. Do you truly believe that there is no real money behind any of this? Do you truly believe that no one here is making actual real money? If you are putting this much fucking effort into this not going away, you are having a laugh if you're trying to convince me that, hey, we're not making real money. We're doing this solely for the gold.
I have something even better when they
Yeah?
I'm gonna send you right now. Like, we are not a middleman, you know? And then look at this. Just gonna wait for you to open it.
Can I share it on stream?
Yeah. This is the same thing from the same place.
Okay. We will be slowly opening up sections when the members are ready, beginning with Calthazard Sylvanas Heroic today onwards. How to book, Horde only. If you are interested in Calthazard or Sylvanas Heroic, service done by the team, you can create a ticket in #LastToHorde channel and you will be matched with members of the team directly that is providing the service and will complete your request. Squad prices. Calthazard equals 50k, Sylvanas equals 60k, both equals 100k. Squad schedule.
You know what?
Yeah?
You know what caught my eye in this?
What?
We are not the middleman, but we still control the price.
Exactly. If, like, in their original post, in this post, they basically say that the team that you get connected with are the ones that will directly pick payment for the service you require. And then in this one, they go, so here are the squad prices. Calthazard equals 50k, Sylvanas equals 60k, both equals 100k. So what the fuck do the squads pick? Like, they pick, so what the fuck? They can basically pick Calthazard, Sylvanas, or both, depending on what you tell them. But totally, not the middleman. This is laughable. It is laughable that these people are going through this much effort to get this shit going. To keep it going, actually, one should say. So, Oblivion community, yeah, you guys are liars. You're not making money off of this? You absolutely are. You're making bank off of this, and you don't want that to go away. We get it. At least be honest about it. And this system, you have to get someone that can think a little bit harder. The middleman is not called the middleman because the word man suggests human. The middleman is called the middleman because it is someone that is completely unrelated to the activities that are happening, that is connecting two different people, two different interested parties that may have aligned interests. This could be done through a bot. So a good example, Oblivion, of a middleman is Match.com. Everything on Match.com is done via algorithm, right? It's done by a bot. It is still called a middleman because Match.com links two people that may have the same interests together to go on dates. They're the middleman. It doesn't matter whether it's a real man or a bot. It's still a middleman. It's literally what it is. So it's clear that this is probably from Eastern Europeans who don't understand English that well. So they were like, wait, Blizzard did say middleman, right? So if we just make a bot, that's not a man in the middle. I'm surprised that they didn't go from this moment forth for all people that handle these services will be female because Blizzard said you're not allowed to have a middleman. I'm very surprised that they didn't just go with that. This is ridiculous. This really is ridiculous.
Yeah. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. We have always been proud of being the best and safest boost providing community that people. Is this from a different one or is this from the same?
Yeah. This is Nova.
This is Nova. Okay.
Huh?
All right. That people could use. We built a trustworthy platform, and in many ways, we made everyone's life easier, knowing that you would always get what you wanted without being worried of being scammed due to Nova being there to protect you. During our entire existence, our advertisers were funneling all the gold to our banking characters, which would then sort across all realms where our members needed their gold. Communities being directly involved with boosting is no longer possible in the way it was done before. The new TOS requires a new and radical solution of what our role as a community should be. We will no longer be involved with boosting, but instead, we will use our Discord and website as a platform to connect advertisers with boosters. There will be a 0% fee for management and banking. All the gold is split between boosters, guilds, and advertisers. Advertisers get 25%, boosters get 75%. Why, if this is indeed that admin is no longer getting any money, why can't advertisers and boosters decide upon their own price split?
No middleman, right?
Yeah, just want to make sure that we don't get sloshed out of this. Of course, no one speaks that the advertisers will still have to report to management and there will still be gold trade back. But anyways, rules will be reworked to accommodate all the changes. In the end, boosting for gold is allowed, and with all these changes, you will have a safe place to do so. We will provide you all with the tools to make things easier for everyone while respecting the new TOS. Everything will be up and running until Friday. We will keep you updated with all the questions you might have. Mythic Plus, Torghast leveling. Signing up for service requests will remain the same. Discord will serve to showcase which cut you will receive. Advertisers, when posting a key, will also mention which server the client is paying, and the advertiser is responsible to share the cut with the boosters on that respective realm. Raids, advertisers will still book clients like before, nothing changed. Our guilds will still use our website as a platform to connect clients with guilds. Guild leaders will be responsible to collect the gold from clients. The entire system will be revealed very soon. Nova Market. Instead of banking and control all the flow of the gold, we will be gold swappers. When you need, we will be here to move your gold and nothing else. We have gold on every realm, and ultimately, you will have the gold where you want. You can expect more news about this topic in the next few days. We will close the current free market that we did a few days ago, as it was only temporary. Our social media will be reworked to expand our influence in other ways, especially our streams will play a vital role in all of this. This will be an ongoing project as we have partnerships involved and will be developed further as soon as we get back on track. Booking requests. We will also open our client tickets as we did before. You will be connected directly with our advertisers. From there, the process will be the same as mentioned above. Thank you, Nova team. Basically, all they're saying is they will no longer be advertising boosts inside World of Warcraft. Now, instead, what they will do is they will advertise in WoW the Nova community. So if you find yourself alone with no one to play with, you are welcome to join the Nova community. The second you join the Nova community, you will realize that this is in fact a boosting community and not just a community for people to hang out in. Once you're there, now you can start booking your payments. And as long as none of this is happening on or in World of Warcraft, there really isn't much of a problem, right? Because we're not actually advertising any boosting in World of Warcraft. We're just advertising boosting in our Discord. Like the World of Warcraft stuff, that just happens to be where you exchange your gold.
Didn't Blizzard word it in a way where they said you're literally only allowed to advertise in game, you know?
Yeah,
as in like in trade chat, that's your only avenue of advertising. You can't even use the pre-made group finder.
True. So they're effectively breaking every part of TOS here.
Yeah.
They're even worse than the original ones. Like, at least Oblivion just got the whole middleman thing wrong. But Nova is just going, you know what? Fuck the TOS. we're just going to interpret this that allows us to make a little bit more money. It is going to be harder now for Blizzard to catch them because you saw it here. They spoke about how their social media is going to change, right? So their social media is now going to become the new place that they advertise at.
There's also a second part to this, by the way. I think that was yesterday, maybe. Oh no, that was just straight after the other one. I just sent you a new picture.
All right. We are happy to announce that we are reopening our ticket system for booking requests. Tickets can now be opened and you will be greeted by a trusted member of Nova who will attempt to find you a group or guild who can provide the boost you are looking for. It should be noted that prices may differ from group to group, as these are no longer prices that we are setting, but the individuals that provide the service are deciding. So they're basically saying we're going to be able to make a lot more money now because certain guilds will boost for a lot higher. The price split will still be 25-75, right? So the guild gets 75% and we get 25%. Nova Gaming Community, if you would like more information and some light reading on how this works and conforms to new TOS, feel free to read below. As I am sure you are aware, with the recent news from Blizzard, boosting communities are no longer able to function in the way that they did previously. Even though we obviously had our concerns with the way this was implemented, we went down the correct path of halting our service until we know more about how Blizzard wants boosting to operate from here. With the dissolution of communities as we know it, it does unfortunately open the opportunity to lots of scamming, as boosts are now done by individual groups and guilds instead of being moderated by trusted communities. Fuck off with this trust. These people keep saying the same shit. Trusted, out-trusted, these trusted. You can trust us. Trust.
I mean, from a buyer point of view, that's actually true. But you know, like that's just.
It's definitely going to lead to fewer scams. But these guys are scamming of themselves. They just don't realize it.
Oh yeah. Like, I'm not saying that, but just from the buyer's point of view, if you pay 150k for a boost for a solo guy or for a community, you were much safer with the community.
True. With this in mind, we wanted to go ahead and make a new system which conforms to Blizzard's demands while also still giving an avenue for players to find boosts in a safe manner. This prompts the opening of our new ticket system. In these tickets, you will be able to speak with trusted members of Nova who can find you guilds and teams who are able to meet your boosting requests on your realm of choice. It is important to note that Nova does not take any cut from this process. We simply are opening our platform so that players can find boosts from a trusted source that conforms to the new Blizzard rules. If you run into a problem with any of your boosts provided via our system, please let us know. We want to make sure that both the representatives... Okay, never mind. I would like to know if they say that they're getting literally no cut from this entire process, why are they still doing it? Because they don't seem to be able to explain that at all. I'm open to any member of Nova or Oblivion to come on my Discord while I'm streaming and tell me and chat why are they doing this if they're getting no cut. What is in it for them?
I think, like, you know, that we talked about earlier, it's like these are like already communities with a huge amount of players in them, you know, or people in them, and this might just be a way to try and you know, save the actual community for sponsorships and shit.
So obviously sponsorships is going to be a huge part. Sponsorships can create a lot of money. That still gives a financial incentive. I would just like to know from them how much, like, how will they get paid? Where does their money come from? What is the incentive? Because there is always an incentive. And right now, they're basically playing the community for fools because they are pretending in all of their, like, streams and shit. They're pretending like this is just for community. They don't do this for money. They don't get any money from it. And it's like bullshit. You are getting money from this. Don't fucking lie. Also, it just so happens to be that if you want to be an advertiser in Nova's guild or for Oblivion, you're gonna need to belong to the community, correct? Now, what is stopping them from telling advertisers you need to share with us 15% of your 25%? Nothing's stopping them, right? It's bullshit, is what it is. Although, yeah, they're basically becoming banks in World of Warcraft, boosting banks, where this is the equivalent of the fucking bank teller telling you they have no incentive in how well the bank is doing. It's like, yeah, fuck off. Of course you have. It's your job. Or the bank telling you that they don't get the money from you keeping your money with them. It's like bollocks. Fucking bollocks. Dude, it's 6 o'clock. Oh, it's only 7 o'clock that I'll be able to play. Fuck. Yeah, this is nonsense. Thanks for sharing this, Dolly. That was a good laugh. I can't wait for these guys to realize that neither of their plans puts them outside of the scope of TOS. They're still breaking
These are the
TOS.
only two ones I follow, so I'm sure there's other gems out there that someone can share.
True. I'm sure there's worse, but this is fucking miserable. Dude, these guys are doing so much to try and stay on this. They have so much money tied up in these systems. They don't, because if they had no money tied in these systems, there is a very real chance that they would have gone, well, Blizzard is making it so fucking hard, screw it. They just screw doing this. This is bullshit. The fact that this is indeed not the case tells you that there is a lot of money tied up in these systems.
But there's also some communities that just straight up died off of this, by the way. I just spoke the other day to a guy who used to be council member in one of the boosting groups. I think it was Twilight or something. I'd never heard of them, but apparently they were one of the biggest in the EU. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I just spoke to one of their council members, ex-council members, and the guy was saying, it's like, oh, I have a bunch of buyers, who spent like almost from 100k to like 15 million a month or an expansion or a tier on me.
Jesus.
And he's like, oh, he's just looking for a guild right now, to play, and then he can bring his buyers over. It's like, what the fuck?
Fucking hell. I mean, I get it. I think there are obviously groups that probably will just straight up die as a result of this, because this new thing makes it a lot harder. You can see the amount of effort that both Nova and Oblivion is putting in to keep themselves alive, right? So there might be a lot of groups that's less organized that wouldn't be able to come up with these things. But I can almost tell you that even those groups are going to see what Nova and Oblivion is doing, and they're going to go right in and do the exact same thing.
Yeah, they're gonna try it.
Yeah.
Unless Blizzard, answers fast again like the last time and just straight up bans them.
Saban is telling me here, there was a group that gave free runs to stream members via lottery named something Bird. So technically speaking, I believe that is also against, I think that's Twitch's TOS. You're not allowed to sort of, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think you're allowed to sell things in return for subs. So you can't tell your subs. So for example, whenever I did any sort of giveaway for Blizzard would make it very clear that my giveaways may not go to Twitch subs exclusively or to Patreon members exclusively. If I want to do giveaways, sure, a Twitch sub could win, but they may not be the only ones participating. And I do believe that some of that might be against Twitch's TOS, or it may just be straight up Blizzard's TOS, where you're not allowed to go, yeah, if you're a sub on my channel, I will give you a free boost. Because technically what you are doing is selling boosts for real money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you're technically not allowed to do that. So that's why a lot of these individual streamers that boost people will usually do boosting for everyone, and then subs will just have a higher chance of getting in on the next spot. So maybe a sub gets like double the chance of getting chosen for the next spot, but the boosting is open for everyone. You sort of have to play very carefully with the rules there.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking bullshit, dude. But yeah, that's gonna make a juicy little video.
I mean, I'm hoping that's what happens. I like the drama, you know. Like if
Oh,
Blizzard
yeah.
just comes out, it's like, oh, you keep trying, and we're tired of it, so banhammer.
I wonder if Blizzard is going to ban these guys, because it is going to be a lot harder now, right?
I mean, it's not really hard. They can do whatever they want, you know. Like,
No, but
and it's clear what these guys are doing, right? So
yeah, but finding these people in game now. Remember, it's moved to Discord, so I could have a different name in Discord than what I have in WoW.
I mean,
So it
remember
becomes
how they
slightly
said they had public spreadsheets?
Yeah.
You know that that almost all of these communities apparently shared with Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Blizzard just still have them saved, you know, and
Yeah,
then all the
I would
accounts with the
fucking hope
god.
so. I would hope that Blizzard still has it saved. Otherwise, that's a huge loss on Blizzard's part.
Oh,
We
that's
just
a huge
need-
fuck up. You mean?
The boosters are back. How boosting communities. The boosters are back. Aklon reacts to new boosting communities. So this would be Rush. Alex is gonna love me. He probably wants to start his weekend, and here I am fucking basically giving him all work. Oh, that's actually better, Bitty. Boosters strike back. You mean like a late game currency? You can get to run old content that if there is a new person there, you get more bonus currency? Pink Turkey, wait, what? What are you guys talking about? Why is this video taking so fucking long? It's being checked right now. Jesus.
I think your stream is lagging. Or is it good now?
I don't know. Is the stream lagging for people?
Okay. Maybe it was just my end. Sorry.
It seems like Ivan is loading. You had problems.
I refreshed it. It's fine now. So.
Okay, cool. It might be Twitch doing Twitch things, because I didn't drop any frames on my end. So Twitch might just be doing Twitch things again, you know?
Mm.
Like they fucking always do. If you want boosting to be a thing in your game, why not make it an actual game mechanic? Yeah, because it creates... Like, how would you make it an actual game mechanic, though? Just go.
Make a separate premade group, find their tab for it or something like that. Like a bit more elaborate, maybe. But I think that's the only way they can do it.
You could probably... I think you could probably get away with building something like the mentor system in Final Fantasy, where guilds can be mentors, and that way they can boost people through stuff. If they need stuff. So you basically make it an official place or an official title within Blizzard. You could probably do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but the idea that they want to make it a thing is I think wrong. It just became a thing, and now they're trying to like control it somewhat.
I think if you do things like boosting in your game, so if you try to make your game boostable, so if you wanted something like boosting in your game, you're creating weird incentives and weird playstyles. You're creating a weird environment where the playstyle isn't automatically conducive to a fun experience for anyone who doesn't boost, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you like, I think it's the wrong way to look at it. You know, like how to control boosting and all that shit. I think the first question you should be asking, and you go from there, is like, what caused the appearance of boosting? Because this wasn't a thing. Like, yeah, sure, it's a thing, but no other game has this. Well, I mean, I guess League, but you know, that's a different story.
Yeah, well, League is like the Wild West of the gaming industry.
Yeah, but for MMOs like this is completely new. You know, people boosting in this. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, this much, this capacity.
Oh yeah, it's definitely so. In the past, if you wanted to boost, you usually had to go you had to go quite the extra mile. Like you had to.
It's not even that, but like boosting. What was boosting in older WoW? GDKP. You know, that's like a completely different story. It was very similar, but also completely different. If you think about it, like how did GDKP work? Like people went in to get gear, but at the very start, you know, only people who actually could kill the bosses were invited, and then later on, you know, had people who invited specifically buyers and shit like that. But in its essence, it was the same thing. But you know, GDKP, I don't think you would be as mad at as someone who is mad at boosting right now, in my opinion.
No, because okay, so the thing that I view, in the past, if you wanted a boost, you had to look for chat for either a guild that was selling boosts. It used to be literally just individual guilds selling boosts. Or you had to advertise yourself that you wanted to be boosted. Right? Those were basically your two options in the game. It has obviously gotten worse and worse with time, to the point where we now have literal communities with websites and discords of their own streamlining the process. So they're basically making it as easy as possible for people to skip the game and simply play the game as a spectator, rather than playing the actual game. So that right there should tell you a couple of things. First and foremost, Blizzard waited way too long to actually crack down on this and create some kind of no, stop doing this sort of thing. The second thing is, and this is Blizzard's fault, Blizzard needs to start looking at this. Why is that happening?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Why is boosting in World of Warcraft such a large thing right now? Because surely it must have something to do with the design of the game. No?
Like 100% has. Like I'm not gonna farm shit on my alts. I'm just gonna buy boost, which is what I'm gonna do tomorrow actually.
Yeah, well, see, but that's the thing. You're making the game has become such a grind, and it's so much is required of you to actually be able to play the game, that it is almost entirely a waste of time for you not to just get the boost. Because most of what you're going to do is going to be a waste of time. It's going to be very difficult to do because you have to do so much in order to get caught up. So it's just easier to pay for the boost. So that is indicative of a problem within the game design. Now, here's where things get really tricky, chat. So you can stop this, I think, before it reaches this point. But now that it's at this point, I don't think you can undesign this problem in your game.
And I think they understand that as well. That's why they're not saying they can't boost at all, because that's just going to make it even worse.
Yeah. The thing is, you'd have to first change the design of your game, and then you would have to ban boosting entirely. And then you would have to hope that the player base realizes that the game isn't, like, boosting is no longer required, and that a game is meant to be played. It's not meant to be boosted through. The issue is you now have this thing where a lot of people are conditioned to boost through content, because why the fuck would I play the content? Why would I play the content if I can simply boost through it? I don't know how you undesign that. It's already in the minds of all the players.
I don't think it's that. I'm sure there are people like that, but I think a large amount of people who bought boosts, who are buying boosts, or who are just playing the game, they more weigh the amount of gold they have to pay for a boost versus the amount of effort they have to put into reaching the level where they can actually do that content, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a large part of that. You know, like there are exceptions. There are always exceptions. There's
Yeah, of
probably a
course.
shit ton of exceptions, of course. But
Yeah.
in general, I think that's the issue. You know, it's like it takes so much to get into content as an old or even as someone new to the expansion to the game, whatever. That
Or as someone who took a break.
yeah, you just look at the price and it's like, oh, it's like what 20-30 euros for a full heroic boost. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
sure. I mean, that's more worth it than farming 5 weeks, you know, to see the content.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, they're scamming themselves because they don't actually see the content. They just fucking spectate it. But you know,
Yeah. They're not actually playing the game. Zeno, by the way, thanks for the follow, dude. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. Thank you.
but I think the best way they can kind of get this out of the game is make an avenue, a way in the game where that's more convenient to book boosting and shit like that than the boosting communities, which is a hard thing. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that's an easy thing. And the other one is just make it easier to get into raiding and stuff like that, you know, for the next expansion, because it's not gonna work anymore. But
So I think
if they make it easier, then people who wanna buy boosts, they will look at it like, oh, what's the requirement? It's like, oh, I just need
Yeah.
to do a couple dungeons, you know, and shit like that. It's like, and I can get into raiding. Yeah, that sounds better than paying 200k.
I think so. Here's what I would say about that. If you wanted to design this away, it would have to be a slow process, right? So yes, the next expansion you make absolutely ease of access. So in other words, raiding really is once again just a skill issue. It's not really a grind issue. There's no borrowed power. There's no power that can be gotten outside of raiding. All of your power lies within the raid. You have to physically do the raid in order to get the power. You remove all of that, and you definitely hurt the boosting communities. Because suddenly, why would I pay for a boost if the very thing that I actually want to do is already there and all I have to do is do it, right? So yes, it would be slow though, because there would still be people who prefer to just buy the boost. But then
yeah.
at least it would be fewer, because it would basically go back to how boosting used to work in the past. In the past, the only people that would really boost were people who wanted the items for transmog, or people who wanted the items for achievements, or they wanted the achievements. You know, it was very rare that someone would boost for gear. Just because it was, if you really wanted gear, just go join a guild and kill the bosses and get the fucking gear, you know? Like, you didn't need to buy a boost for that shit. Because there was nothing. Think back to Wrath. If you were a raider in Wrath, where did you get your power to raid from?
Daily heroics and raid.
Yeah.
And the Vault of Arcanum.
Yeah, you literally did one heroic every single day. That was it. Because that gave you... you only got Valor for your first heroic. This is where the whole term daily heroic comes from. Is from the Wrath era, where your Valor points... Or was it Valor back then? What was it called again?
I think it was Emblem.
Yeah, but the emblem had a name, didn't it?
Emblem. I mean, for ICC, I think it was Emblem of Frost or some shit like. I don't remember.
Oh, well,
It was a long time ago.
let's just say Valor points, right? Because
Yeah, they were tokens basically.
yeah, they were tokens. I think Justice and Conquest was for PvP, or was Justice the lower tier?
Badge of Justice was in BC, I think.
Anyways, let's just call it Valor points because everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say Valor points. Yeah. Your daily heroic would give you Valor points. So if you had an alt that you wanted to raid on eventually, you would just log on every day, quickly do your daily heroic, and then log back to your main and go do whatever. Until you had the gear, like the startup gear, so that you could go do the raid. Yeah? If you kept up with your daily heroics every single day, you would usually be capped anyways. So by the time a new patch comes out, you would be buying at least 1 or 2 pieces of gear, and you'd be ready for the next raid anyways. So there was basically very little that you could actually boost for unless you simply boosted to skip shit. Like, you just wanted to skip stuff. One of the issues also, I feel like, in Wrath at least, was that there were bosses like the Lich King, and then also going to... So, for example, I believe in Firelands, almost no guilds, even the top guilds in the world, would not boost Ragnaros. because it was too fucking hard. Even with a full group of people that knew what they were doing, it was rough to get Ragnaros down. So people were just like, dude, no, this is not worth our time. We're not boosting this shit. So that's another way of doing it, right? Where you could effectively create bosses where even if you were to just boost one person, it would most likely result in a lot of wipes. Would that be fun for everyone else? No.
I mean,
So that's not a really good option, right?
Technically, that's a thing right now. Or was a thing right now. I know for a fact one of my guildies who likes to boast that he's really rich, like IRL, right? He's a weird dude.
Yeah.
He bought a boost from Echo, actually, and he said that they were doing it on something like a Sunday or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah, he bought the entire boost for Mythic, and he said that on Sylvanas they vibed like an hour or something, and then they just thought it's like, oh, we called the raid, we finished Sylvanas another time, like we just can't do this right now.
Fuck.
Like
Yeah.
they kept vibing on Sylvanas. And it was Echo, like it was actually Echo.
Yeah, I think I have heard of guilds who try to boost too many people at the same time.
No, he was solo.
Then they sort of run into issues. But that's one option that you could go for, but I do think that creates sort of a weird incentive thing to make raids so hard that almost no one can do them. Outside of like the top 10 guilds in the world, no one else gets the raids done, which is also not fun. A challenge is only fun if there is a clear and obvious way for you to complete the challenge. If I put you in front of a 20-foot wall with no ladder, no rope, and no boxes to stack on top of one another to get over, you're not going to keep trying to get over that wall for a very long time before you realize, wow, this is just bullshit. It's one of the problems that we talk about in real life now, where we talk about entire generations that is completely unmotivated to get ahead in life. Because if you're an 18-year-old right now in the world, you're looking at the economic ladder and you realize you're never going to own a home. Your chance of owning a car is slim to fucking none. You're probably never going to have a good, decent life unless you're very lucky. And then you get demotivated, right? Because why would I try if the chances of me succeeding is slim at best? So there's also that problem within a game philosophy that you could run into. The only option I can see from Blizzard's side is they have to make the game accessible enough to where boosting isn't really required. That will hurt the boosting communities, hopefully enough to where most of them no longer find it profitable to exist. You know? So you make it so that where they used to have, say, 10,000 people that they would boost in a month, now maybe they only have like 1,000. And suddenly they're going, wait, but we can't make money this way. We just can't make money this way. That, or you have to find a way to reset the economy in World of Warcraft. Now, how could we do that, chat? If you had to try and reset the economy of WoW, how would you do it? Rapier, yes. I think, actually, just from a rating perspective, I already think that the step from Heroic to Mythic is, well, it's actually a two-way street here. On the one end, it's far too low. There's almost no step up from Heroic to Mythic on at least the first 3 bosses in almost every single Mythic. And then suddenly, usually around the 4th, 5th, or 6th boss, there's this giant leap that takes place. And to me, at least in my mind, this leads... So there's a two-pronged problem that I have with raiding in World of Warcraft. Number one is that the vast majority of heroic bosses isn't hard enough to provide the average, higher than or above average raider enough of a challenge to where they feel satiated by the challenge that they're experiencing. And then Mythic starts off easy enough that above average player can actually partake in the first few bosses, leading them incorrectly to believe that they're good enough to do Mythic raids. when in reality they're not. Stolly and I used to raid together for a while. Stolly is the guy that you guys are listening to right now, also on stream. We used to raid together, and I can ask Stolly right now if he can think of a couple of people in our old guild that should never have been in Mythic raiding, and I'm pretty sure a certain rogue is gonna come to mind for both of us.
Not just the rogue.
No, not just, but that
There's also a druid and the priest, you know.
Yeah, there was a couple of people that you can immediately go, they should never have Mythic raided. Ever. And I'm not sitting here saying that I was the best raider or the best fucking player, but even I looked at those people and went, Jesus, no.
Honestly, our entire guild was, if you look at Hellfire Citadel, in Hellfire Citadel, because of the rings and shit, like the difficulty difference between the raids was so massive because of the ring we got in Hellfire Citadel that we actually thought we can be a cutting edge guild.
True. And we didn't have enough. I would say we had in our entire 20-man guild, we had maybe 8 people, 8, 9 maybe, that were capable of doing cutting edge content. And then we had a bunch of people that basically needed us to carry them. And if you only have 8 people that can carry a fight, you can't fucking do it. Because we had raiders that would only care about logs. Like, logs was everything. If you asked them to do any sort of fucking tactics, they want to shit themselves because now I'm not going to get the logs. Then we had raiders who pretended like they were mythic method raiders. And then they would die on every single fight on the stupidest fucking mechanics available. Like, it's not even the hard mechanics that they're dying to. They're dying to the easy shit. Like, for example, on Agrimar. Agrimar spawns a circle under your feet that you have about 5 seconds to move out of. And you have one person that dies on every pull by being knocked off the fucking platform. And it's like, and then I eventually asked her, why the fuck do you keep dying? And she's like, well, I need to DPS the boss. And it's a mess. I can't see where the circles aren't under the boss. It's like, well, how about you just wait for it to fucking explode before you go back to the boss? Like, if you, why are you running into a bunch of circles that is, like, if you can't see where there's no circles, maybe don't go there, right? Because maybe you are on a circle and you're going to die now. But this was every fucking pull after a while. We had people who couldn't use their mechanics correctly. We had people that couldn't use their classes correctly. It was a mess. But this is the problem with World of Warcraft's mythic design. It tricks a lot of above average players thinking they have the ability to do mythic when they really do not. They should be in heroic with a challenge that is equal to their task. The problem is that the vast majority of bosses on heroic are piss easy. I'll use an example from when we raided together. Or I don't know if you were in the guild still then, Stolly, but when we fought Argus.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Back in Argus. So Argus heroic was hard, but not really impossible. I think we killed him, was it, how long? 1 night? 1.5 nights that we took to get Argus heroic down?
We killed it at some point. I don't remember.
Yeah, but it wasn't the kind of fight that stood out to me as, oh my god, this is hard. So
Yeah, exactly.
it was very easy, actually. Then we basically smashed the first 3 bosses on Mythic. The first real challenge for the guild was at the bridge. That bridge was a tough fight. The guild really struggled to get that bridge down. The next challenge was on the council, the 3 succubi that you have to fight.
Oh, I have PTSD from that. Oh.
Because we genuinely had people who didn't know how to switch target. Like, they would either tunnel
Not just
vision.
that, our healers were complete garbage.
Oh yeah, that wasn't. We had healers who could not keep the people up. I remember actually, I think you switched to your healer after being triggered enough so that you could keep people alive. Because
I switched to spot healing Mistweaver, which was not a playstyle in Legion.
yeah,
I had to switch to that because these idiots couldn't heal. Oh, okay, no, I'm not gonna go on a rant, but yeah, I have PTSD from that, definitely.
So the guild struggled to get past that boss. And then Agrimar was a true test of fucking I would say skill, but Agrimar had very little skill test. Agrimar just basically required you to look at the ground, especially since as the Warlock, I slowed the ads. So we basically got to bypass an entire mechanic by the ads being slowed. So you could effectively just sort of ground, so the DK would run in, basically grip all of the ads on top of one another and then just AoE it down. So you're skipping that entire mechanic. And we still had people that couldn't do that. And then Argus killed the guild, effectively. Because suddenly there, you now no longer can just be above average. Now you have to be incredibly good.
Like, how the difficulty event, I'd say, is like up until the bridge boss, it's like piss easy, heroic level, and then it's like slightly more difficult, including the council. I would put the bridge and the council at almost the same difficulty level.
Yeah,
and then you have like a decently hard fight, with Agrimar, and then you just have like fucking an insane fight with Argus. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, Argus was very, very fucking hard. And the problem is, like I said, there's nothing wrong with being an above average raider. Nothing wrong with it. Not everyone is ever going to be world first raiders. That's just, there's a reason why we call them world first raiders. Because they are very good at what they do. They understand their fights from, they understand their classes better than anyone else. They understand the mechanics better than everyone else. And more often than not, these are people who can see differences or gaps within a boss better than any other guild. They spot how to basically skill gap a boss better than everyone else. These are the world tier raiders. Then you have the great raiders. So these are the people that's usually in those guilds or form part of at least the top 100. Then you have the above average raider, who will basically get to maybe 50% of the mythic raid. They will probably never finish the mythic raid, no matter how hard you push them.
You miss a large amount of guilds with that. You went to top 100 and then said 50%, right?
Yeah, but I'm sort of going because you're above average raiders or your great raiders that go into the top 100 are usually in the top 100 because there are some world first raiders in their guild. So it's not an entire guild of world first raiders. It's maybe like, say, 10 world first raiders and then 10 great raiders. So they're not good enough to even be in the top 100, but they're
definitely. I'm just saying, like, from top 100 to top 300-400, that's a different group, I'd say. And then from top 400 to about 700-800, that's another different type of raider. And then you have the
above average sort of raider, right?
That's what I'd say.
But I would say that any player that plays, say, in the top, let's say top 500 in the world, could be included in a top 100 guild and would probably not hold the guild back from getting to top 100. They probably be able to do enough. I don't know how the things work now. Because it used to be that at least the top 500 guilds were like 11 out of 12 mythic. Eventually. Not immediately, but eventually they would be like almost done with the raid.
Then? Is that? Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Just like it used to be like you have the top 100 that basically clear the raid relatively quickly. So let's say within the first month or month and a half, the raid will be cleared. And then you would have, say, 100 to 200 to 250, which will be like maybe take 2 months to get the boss down, the last boss down. And then from 500, it would usually take them, say, 3 months, but they would still get the last boss down. And then after 500, it would usually be like they're 11 out of 12 and they get it down maybe the week before the next raid launches or something like that. But after 500, that's usually where those guilds would fall, I think.
Yeah. Like for our guild, I can tell you what our plan is. We want to be about top 300, 400. That's where we are aiming. Like, we don't want to go higher than that. We don't want to start doing split raids and all that shit.
Yeah.
And we know that we don't have world first raiders and shit like that. So there's no reason to fucking go more than that.
Yeah.
But with that in mind, with the top 400 around that in mind, our idea is to get to the last boss around the 11th week.
Yeah.
So that would mean, yeah, like around 2.5 months, we want to get to the last boss and start progressing that. So yeah, 3.5 months
Yeah.
on
So
average for those guilds.
my issue is that World of Warcraft is designed, I think, to put it, to sort of highlight my issue. It feels like World of Warcraft is designed in such a way that the above average raider, so the raider that shouldn't be in Mythic, feels like they can be in Mythic. And I don't think that's good, because I think at the end of the day, you are creating a system whereby now you have someone that has already gotten some of the Mythic bosses down, but they'll never be able to get the final Mythic bosses down, but they think they can. Right? They think that they can, because if I can get the first boss on Mythic, I must be able to get the last boss on Mythic. So World of Warcraft needs to do a better job of their like the gap between Mythic and Heroic needs to be larger from day one, and the gap between Heroic and normal needs to be much, much higher. Like, right now, I think Heroic, because how many guilds, and this is a genuine question, I'm not trying to make a point here, a genuine question, how many guilds, Kylie K, how you doing? How many guilds struggle for an entire patch cycle to get full heroic clear?
Once they get help from Mythic Raiders, they finish pretty fast.
But I can't.
I have a Hungarian guild that I always help out once we are done with progress. I just join them and help them finish heroing.
Yeah. How far are they usually when you're done with progress?
Right now, they're actually on Sylvanas.
They're on Sylvanas right now.
No. They were on Sylvanas when we finished progress. They were on Heroic Sylvanas.
Yeah. Okay, so they would probably have been able to, even if you didn't join them, let's say they would have taken maybe another 2-3 weeks to get Mythic Heroic Sylvanas down.
I don't know about that. They still can't kill it without me. I have to raid lead for that.
Oh wow, okay, so
they
you're...
kill everything else completely fine, but
Yeah.
Sylvanas they actually need my help for. They even told us like, dude, we've been raiding for like 5 months now. We only kill Sylvanas when you're raid leading. It's like, what the fuck? And I only raid lead for Sylvanas. I don't even talk on the other bosses, you know.
You see, I would say, so like I said, my thinking on this is, so even that, I would say, okay, so let me ask you that. Do you think it would take them, if they didn't rely on you, because there's also the problem here of psychological babysitting, right? Because they've gotten so used to you raid leading whilst doing Sylvanas, calling shit out, telling them what to do. When you're not there, they don't even try. Like, subconsciously, they don't even try.
I wouldn't say that, because how many times did I help them actually kill it? It's like 3 or 4 times during this time, you know, whenever I can make their raids, which is not many times because they have the same raid times as me. So I can only do it when we call the raid or we finished early.
But do they get it down without you, or do they not get it down without you at all?
They don't get it down without me, but they keep trying, and they spend so many hours. Like they pulled maybe 3 times as much without me as with me, you know. So
yeah.
So they are trying, and they almost kill it sometimes, you know. It's just never actually worked out for them.
Yeah, but you see, this is sort of where this is why I say it could be psychological babysitting. I saw this when in our own guild way back in the day, whenever I would tell GB to stop raid leading, so stop babysitting people, micromanaging people, people would just die on stupid shit. Things that they wouldn't die on at all. But because there was no one going, all right, guys, go to the left, everyone stack, everyone move, you move, Akalon move, this move, that move, this move. As soon as that was gone, people would just die. And it's not as if anything changes. It's still the same fight. You still have to do all the same things, but because no one is calling it out, you just start dying. So that's what I call that's what I mean when I say psychological
Yes, but
babysitting.
that's also kind of required in a way. Like, I know for myself, if my raid leader wasn't calling shit out sometimes, or other people, I would have. Like Painsmith, for example, you didn't play in Dispatch, right? So you
No.
don't know about that. But that was a fight that was incredibly punishing. Like, one wrong step and you're dead to a spike or anything like that, especially a Mythic, which... if you want to look up a video about it, you can see like how the intermission went, and you had to be pixel perfect with moving because they had like some stupid hitboxes basically, and they would hit you after they went over, stuff like that, And that was a fight where we actually had to like stop the raid early, and the raid leader actually went off a tangent on like,
Yeah.
oh, if you're not calling this out, then you all just die. And just like, yes, because you're human and you're used to the guy telling you
Yeah.
what happens, and then once that's gone, you get into this tiny bit of panic. It's like, oh shit, what is happening now? Like, that usually comes when someone tells me to move, right?
Yeah.
And now it didn't happen, and now it's too late to move. I think that's just being human. Like, I don't think it's anything about necessarily being bad, but once you get used to someone calling that out, of course you're gonna die to it when suddenly they're not calling it out.
Yeah, but that's exactly what psychological babysitting is. If you didn't call
Oh yeah,
things
but
out...
what I mean by this is guilds need to understand that they need a raid leader if they want better progress, right?
Maybe, but I also think... So, for example, if you watch the World First stuff, and you watch some of those top-level guilds as they're killing stuff, a lot of them don't have that micromanagement. Like, important stuff will be called out if people, say, for example, in a weird place have to stack. But very rarely will the raid leader micromanage the group. So very rarely will the raid leader call out every single thing. Because basically what you're doing then is you're just a walking, talking DPM.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, like the raid leader's job, and I know this from my friends guild, but the reason why they're not killing Sylvanas is because they don't have an actual good raid leader, right? It's not that they don't have a good raid leader, they literally don't have a raid leader. No one is calling out the shit I was doing it. I can tell you right now, it's incredibly fucking hard to do that job, so I don't wish that on anybody. Like,
yeah.
I play like fucking garbage when I'm doing that, because just paying attention to everything else is hard, but when you have someone who is good enough to do that properly, then you take, like, even if it's just one single mechanic you are calling out every time, you just take that stress, that extra effort away from the raid, where they can focus on other stuff. Like, someone in your chat said that as a healer main he couldn't do Painsmith. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. As a healer, you have to pay attention to so much more, that actually paying attention to the mechanics sometimes, not every time, sometimes, if you are not an insanely good player, which I am not, becomes a problem. Like, you can't pay attention to everything, and that's when a raid leader, for example, for me in that case, comes in really useful, And without a raid leader, I cannot do Plainsmith. Like, I might as well just sit on the bench instead.
So I can actually tell you, from a psychological standpoint, that is not good. Because we see this in studies that involve children, where they give children a puzzle to solve or a problem to solve. And then one group of kids, they allowed, whenever those kids had a problem, they would immediately step in and help the kids solve the problem. The other group, they waited until those kids started crying, and then they would step in and help them solve the problem. And the other group, they did nothing. So whether the kids cried or not, they did nothing. They did not step in at all. And the study showed that the children that basically just had to ask for help and immediately got helped became effectively just immediately started asking. Like, as soon as a problem was in front of them, they would spend like 5 seconds looking at the problem and then ask for help. The group that would cry, started crying sooner. As the experiment continued, they found that they started crying sooner because they realized this is how I get what I need, so that I don't have to do it myself. The group that was forced to do it, no matter what, like, they would not be rewarded until such time that they solved the problem, became extremely efficient at solving the problem themselves. Like, they would cry for a bit in the beginning, and they would sort of moan and ask for help, and then realize no help is coming no matter what. So wipe off the tears and just start fucking working. Just start fixing the problem. And they became extremely good at solving the problem, which is why I call it, I don't know what the official term is, but that's why I call it psychological babysitting. If you teach people from the beginning, condition them from the beginning that you have to keep track of everything that is happening in the fight, because it is up to you as a personal responsibility to make sure that you do your job, they're going to become better and better at doing that. Which means that you don't have to micromanage them as much, because they know exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. In most of the top level guilds, the top tier guild, your Echoes and those guys, the methods, you'll see that the raid leader is oftentimes the guy that comes up with tactics or revising tactics throughout polls. Not so much the guy that calls out different shit. More the guy that explains the tactics that they're going to change this time around to see if this works a little bit better. And then, so if you do that from the beginning, so if you get used to someone calling out shit, you're going to rely on that. Which means as soon as that goes away, you're going to struggle to do it without that. Which is what the original point I was making, where I think maybe this guild is so used to getting it down whenever you call shit out, so that whenever they don't get those call outs in the way that you do it, their players have effectively stopped thinking for themselves. They only do what they're told to do. And so it's very difficult for them to realize that, no, I have to think for myself here. It's just something that I've spotted over the years in multiple raiding guilds. I've spotted the exact same thing happening every single time.
But for example, some strategies, some things that I introduced to them, and the first couple times or couple raids even, they weren't doing it properly, like I was calling it out, they still weren't doing it correctly and shit like that. Now if I join them on a raid, those things they are doing automatically. The thing they fuck up still is mostly, among other, like personal fails, is the last phase where the tank fucks something up and there's a lot of shit on the ground or something, and they start panicking, and I'm telling them on Discord, like, no, just calm down. The only way we kill it is when I'm telling them, just calm down, you don't have to do anything. We have mass dispel or something, you don't need to drop your stacks, you don't need to ask for dispel, just calm down, TP as the boss, we're fine. And that's basically the only time we can kill it at that point. I think it's more of a not a skill issue, because that's such a cliche word, but it's I
think it's almost always a skill issue.
But and with you saying, the raid leader in those top guilds, he's not calling out stuff. But that's also like that. Let's not say that those guys, like in my guild or me, I can do the same performance as someone in a Virtuous guild. I cannot. Like that. No, doesn't matter what mentality I have. I am not gonna do the same performance as those guys. So.
No, probably not. Although, what do you mean the third optional path suffers from diminishing returns? What do you mean? Skill issue, the issue of patience during duress moments. That is a skill. I mean, at the end of the day, it can be a million different things, right? It could genuinely just be a skill issue in that the person has the skill when they're told what to do, but they don't necessarily have the skill to think about what they're doing and then also execute it perfectly. So they can either think about what they're doing or they can do it perfectly, but they can't really do both. Because yes, raiding is basically multi-man, or raiding is
it's Guitar Hero.
I'm trying to think what's the English word for it when you're splitting your attention. What the fuck is that phrase? Multitasking. Raiding is multitasking at a very high level, because you're basically focusing on your rotation, you're focusing on your positioning, you're focusing on what the boss is doing, you're focusing on what the other people in your group is doing. So there's a bunch of tasks that's happening at the exact same time, and you kind of have to take care of all of that whilst also still pulling your own weight, which can be very difficult. A child who does not know how to or when to ask for help will always reach a limit to their capacity to deal with shit on their own. Although true, but remember they were physically looking at the response of children and how far they would go, like how they would change based on the help received. So that was sort of the extent of the study, or at least the part that I read of it. I don't know if they went further to try and see who could solve the most amount of problems and the hardest problems, stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure if that was also part of the study. It could have been. I just sort of read the part where the three different groups, basically the two groups that were offered help at several different intervals, became much quicker on just asking for help to do it. Right? So they just started asking immediately because the help would arrive, they would get the help, and then they could leave. Lost Ark the release delayed by hours. How many hours? There may have been a fourth group auto. I genuinely, this is the only things that I remember. This study isn't new. So that's why I'm not giving you exact insights on the study. There's obviously, there could have been 5 or 6 different fucking groups still, right? Because usually if you want to do good science, you would have to do as much as possible, right? From Amazon Game Studios, not us. Due to deployment issues, the Lost Ark launch is unfortunately delayed. We hope to have this resolved in a matter of hours, and we appreciate your patience. We want your time in Arkesia to be a great experience, and we're working hard to get Lost Ark live as soon as possible. Stay tuned to our social media and website for updates. Fuck! So we're only going to be able to play it tomorrow.
Pretty much. Like, as I said, the launch even for the Founders Pack users was pretty insane in that way. So
this game is fucking debating the living shit out of me. Man, fuck this game. Like, I can't play it for the 2 days that it goes rather well. And then as soon as the game is now playable, I can't fucking play it because they delay the... Fuck my life, dude.
Oh, yeah. Guild Wars 2. Oh my god. I only played one boss in a raid in Guild Wars 2, but I agree with that. It's like it's mostly heroic difficulty. I'm sure there's harder bosses, but it's interesting, And I hope we're gonna try some raids,
I hate my life. I hate my fucking life.
Why?
I want to play the fucking game, dude. I want to play the goddamn game, and I can't play the goddamn
I told you earlier it's not gonna happen, remember?
Yeah, but still, I reserve the right to complain about absolutely everything in life.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I am allowed to complain as much as I fucking want until I feel I've complained enough. And that's usually not soon. This is just facts. So never. Exactly. Well, basically, I whine until I get my way. And then I stop whining because I got my way. No more reason to whine. And then if I do get my way and it doesn't live up exactly to my expectations, I whine some more. I would be the fourth group auto. I started whining, no one helped me, and I just kept whining. Until I break them down. No, generally speaking, I don't actually. I'm very quick to just accept. I'm probably gonna, as soon as I finish, as soon as the stream is finished, I'm probably gonna be like, well, fuck it. Then we'll just do it tomorrow. Generally speaking, I don't really complain often. Like, things have to be really bad for me to complain. And then I accept it very quickly. So it's like, okay, well, I can't do anything about this now. May as well move on and go do something else while waiting for whatever the fuck is going wrong.
Cool.
Yeah?
I just want to say, if you ever want to take a short break, like a day break or something from MMOs,
Yeah?
Look up Foxhole. I think you would like it.
Foxhole.
Yeah, it's technically an MMO, but not in the sense that like not an MMORPG. It's a persistent war game.
I think I saw someone play that.
It's so fucking good.
I think I saw someone play that.
It's so good to jump in, come back. You remember Alterac Valleys in like Classic and stuff, when it lasted like a really long time. I don't know how long they lasted usually, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
People have the stories of like, oh, I went to school, I came back and still joined in the same AV and stuff like that. So imagine that on a scale of thousands of people.
Jesus.
And
So
everything in the game, every bullet, every weapon, every vehicle, every bunker is made by people.
Holy crap.
And you have people in it. They're called the logistics players who play the game to farm stuff, craft equipment, vehicle stuff, and bring them to the front line for the guys who are fighting there to help their faction.
Jesus, okay. Minibal, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the stream.
I'm just gonna show you this.
I quickly wanted to ask, Naomi, I saw you liked my Fat Man tweet, but you're a design student? What do you design? Sorry, you're literally on my notifications. You're the newest person to like the tweet. We're looking for someone that can design shit for the channel. So I'm always open to like design stuff. Like I basically focus on fucking everyone that designs stuff online.
When you open that link I sent you, and that's me done with the advertising after that.
Unknown Mayfi, you're gonna start working for me the second I start making my video game. That's when I'm gonna recruit you to come design some shit for the video game. What the fuck am I looking at here?
That's the live map of the game.
Oh right. Wait, this is the live map?
Yeah, this is live map. Those number per hour is the casualties, deaths in that zone.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom, in the middle, for example, you have 231k and stuff like that. I'm not sure what that is, but I think that's the overall casualties in the war so far in that zone for each side. And then,
Jesus.
What else is...
Look at this one, 497 per hour. 414 per hour.
You can see on the top the overall casualties this war so far. And the amount of time this war lasted so far, which is 30 days, 22 hours. And there's 3.5 million casualties.
And then you basically play the game and you just shoot people.
Oh, it's nothing as simple as that. There's artillery, there's vehicles, tanks, there's higher penetration from the sides, you build bunkers, you supply the front line, you push with infantry, you need to have combined arms tactics to push effectively. Okay. So it's like what really caught me in this game is from the first moment I joined in to even now, people are working together in their faction. They are fighting together because there's no reason for you other than being a dick to be a cunt with the other players, because I can't tell you why. They are so nice.
They're so nice.
Yeah, like in the first 2 hours I played, you know what I did? I spawned in the front line. I started, I watched a few videos, so I knew kind of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Spawned in the front line. I grabbed the rifles and bullets and I started shooting people and I fucking sucked at it, right? Whatever. Yeah. Also, it's a top-down shooter. It's not an actual FPS game. Which is like, imagine almost a Diablo-style camera, but you can turn it, so it's not just from one angle. But it's weird. You will understand it when you watch a video. But it's interesting, and it's not as simple to shoot in it as you would think. But yeah, so the first hour I jumped in. I spawned on the front line, I died a few times, and then I spawned again, and there was a guy there asking my name and telling me at that point, I was at sergeant rank,
Yeah.
and the guy was like, "Oh, sergeant, you wanna be my gunner in my tank?" And there was just a random guy with a tank there, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm very new to the game." It's like, "Yeah, I know your rank, tells it," and it's like, "Oh yeah, sure. What do I need to do?" And he told me, to grab gas masks and filters so they can't be gassed in the tank and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I jumped in the tank, and we spent like an hour killing enemies and pushing back an entire front because it was early in the war, so tanks weren't. There weren't as many tanks.
Okay.
And it was like the best experience I ever had. And that was a random veteran guy asking a complete newbie to come help him out.
I'll
in what
definitely.
game does that happen?
Not often, no. Naomi, okay. Yeah, you can write me on Discord or Twitter. Either one would be fine. More like last game. Maggie, let's not talk about Lost Ark right now. I don't want to speak about this game. It's date to me until tomorrow.
And also how the ranking system works in the game. So there's no progression in terms of... there's only like faction progression. So war starts, everyone starts at 0 tech, And then you need to tech up by crafting stuff and shit like that, when fighting. So it's... teching up isn't personal or progressing isn't personal. It's for the entire faction, and your faction's goal is to win the war. And once in the war you choose a faction, you cannot change it anymore. So you are stuck with that faction for that war. Just so there's no spying and shit like that. But that's a different story. Let's not get into that. And the way it works with the actual ranking up. So as I said, I was a sergeant. The guy was second lieutenant or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is basically you can every day you get 3 extra commands, and the command is you click on some player and it's like, oh, this is a cool guy, I'm gonna upvote him, I like him.
Yeah.
And based on how many commands you got overall, you rank up. So that's the only progression in the game outside of the war, is you
other players
being upvoted by other players.
So you have to be very good at what you're doing.
Yes. The highest rank in the game requires 30,000 or something upvotes, and I believe there's only 3 players or 4 players who have that in the entire game.
Wow.
And it's been out for years.
This sounds... I'll definitely give it a go. I'm always open
as
to
I said,
games.
just try it out in one day or something, and you'll see what you think about it. But this is definitely a game I keep coming back to, because it's not something you have to spend hours. You can easily get lost in it, and spend hours in it, but generally it's like, oh, every second day you jump on a few hours and you contribute to the war, for the war effort, and you look at this website and you see how it's going. And actually I'm with the blue side, and we just made a massive comeback because we were losing the war.
Yeah, it looks like green is getting fucked at the moment here. But
if you look at the actual casualties, they are they are inflicting more casualties though.
True, but blue is still winning.
Yeah.
Otto, that is some gentle comedy right there. You deserve a little bit of judgment. I mean, bro, talk about the gentlest of gentle comedy. Kamikins, how you doing, bro? You also, Andy, you and Otto need to go sit in the corner and think about what the fuck you just said. You think real wars are paid to win? Yes. Obviously. If America went to war with South Africa, it would 100% be a pay-to-win issue. Well, actually, I'm lying. It would also be a skill issue, but it would be a pay-to-win issue. Like, America wouldn't even have to send soldiers. They could just send their best tanks, and we'd be fucked. Oh, I don't think we'd be able to stand against their fucking tanks. Jesus. The reason we lost the Vietnam War was because it was announced or pinged in Discord raid chat. I think that the Vietnam War was maybe a bit of a skill issue, but then also a bit of a an infiltration issue. Like, if you have people there that fucking long, I mean, eventually you're just gonna get bored, right, of having to fight every single day. And also, weren't there like a hell of a lot of US soldiers that were sort of dating local women there and basically almost started lives on the other side there. So it's sort of like, how are you're continuing to fight a group that you don't really hate them anymore, you know? Or at least you don't want to fight them anymore. Yeah, the Vietnam jungle troopers were too strong and no nerfs whatsoever. Yeah, fuck my life, dude.
I sent you a video you can watch later if you want to look at the game.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Do you guys want to watch it now? Do you want to see what this game is all about now?
Oh, it's not a review of it. It's a YouTuber who is making like a documentary of one of the previous wars. This is War 86, and that was War 83, which was supposed to be the most famous one, the most bloody war so far. I think it was around 5 million casualties in the entire war.
Oh, dude, he just ran him over! Oh my god! No, cover him, cover him.
This looked fun though. I like the fact that it's not traditionally
We need repair.
first-person shooter.
Lock it. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
I
it.
definitely enjoy that as well.
Oof.
Oh no!
Oh shit. He killed his friend as well?
No.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, that's a
I don't
bayonet.
know.
It's kind of broken in the close range, but you can only put it on rifles.
Oh shit.
With a few days of war under our belt, the Royal Spuds were shaping up to be a proper regiment. We were still very new, but in what was historically one of the toughest regions to fight in, against some of the most experienced opponents, we had now helped secure 2 relic bases and an observation tower in the name of the Wardens. In order to win the war, factions have to capture specific town halls all over the map. These can be found by looking for the victory condition labels on towns, and although we hadn't captured any of these just yet, by pushing the colonials out of Godcrofts, we were not only protecting Axehead, the victory town in our region, but also putting pressure on Liar's Haven in Tempest. This isn't to say we were anywhere close to capturing much more in Tempest, but it was still good to have ground in the next region. After slugging it out over a tiny, hilly, and bottlenecked region for days now, we felt as if our current defensive setup on
It looks
Planafada,
good, doesn't it?
Starkle, and Fort Spud was at least sufficient enough to hold out so that we could assist our allies elsewhere. With that, we set our sights on Endless Shore, direct west of us and home to Saltbrook Channel,
okay, I'm
a
gonna
cramped
say
and
that
highly
again.
urbanized town compared to the rural area that we were familiar with in Godcrofts. Although starting as a contested region, meaning any team could claim it at the start of War 83, the Wardens had secured Saltbrook Channel and pushed south across the river. With the nearby relic of Old Jack Tar being liberated the day before, we seemed to be on the front foot in this region. But just as soon as we captured it, the Colonials fought back, storming through Old Jack Tar and then getting right up to the city gates of Saltbrook Channel. The Spuds deployed to reinforce, but we soon found out that not only were we close to being broken on the west, but the entire city as a whole
Jesus.
was scrambling to defend in every direction.
Well,
It was an incredible
hello,
sight to see.
sailor.
Chaos in the center of the city as soldiers scrambled to keep the enemy
Yeah,
out.
they call
while
themselves
countless
the Spuds.
construction and logistics
Their
vehicles
regiment
moved
is
to
called the
rebuild
Spuds.
and resupply all around us. Saltbrook was completely different to anything we had seen in Godcrofts, and it was critical to hold in the region since not only did it have a town hall, but it also had a garage to build and repair vehicles and 2 factories to create frontline materials. With salvage yards to the north and a refinery nearby in Foxcatcher, our logistics network could gather enough resources just outside of
Bro, this is a game that's literally built. I hear what you're saying. It's like an MMO, but it's not an MMO. It's more like a persistent war game.
Yep.
Color me intrigued.
the city, run up to Foxcatcher to refine them, and then drive back down to Saltbrook to toss it into the factory and make exactly what was needed right where it needed to be. To put it into comparison to what we were dealing with in the east, our logistics had to salvage in Morgan's Crossing, refine and then build everything at Allside, only to finally make the long drive south to the front. This was a completely different type of logistics network, and because of that, the importance of the fight was really just right in your face. Allow the enemy to break through, and that factory that you were using to build weapons and medical supplies, well, it's no longer there, and you can physically see it fall apart. Losing that could quickly domino into losing the entire southern part of the city, with us being forced to retreat back north across the bridge. This entire fight was nerve-wracking, and I think everyone around us felt that. With all this industry, the intense close quarters
That guy would trigger the living fuck out of me. This brains guy, I'm trying to shoot and look at him just running in front of this the whole time. Look at it.
across the bridge.
Hey,
This
look at
entire
that.
fight was
Tries to get
nerve-wracking,
past him.
and I
He
think
goes
everyone
once again
around
in
us
front of
felt
you.
that.
It's like,
With all
dude,
this
get
industry,
the fuck
the
out. I'm
intense
gonna
close
shoot
quarters
you.
fighting, and the tendency to snow, which it was right now, Saltbrick Channel had been aptly named Saltingrad in comparisons with the Battle of Stalingrad in World War II, and if I'm gonna be honest, I think it really lived up to it. Bounding from house to house, we would soon find out that urban combat is a lot faster paced than what we were dealing with back home. At times, enemy were literally on the other side of the wall next to us, seemingly within arm's reach, but the amount of incoming and outgoing fire would prevent either side from moving an inch. Dude, this is actually insane.
And hell, this looks good.
Oh, got him! Got him!
Jesus.
Did backblast kill? I can just pop this guy with an RPG. Oh!
Oh, shit.
On this side.
Feels bad, man.
Oh. What? How did I die? Medic! Zay, don't let me die out here! Thank you, Valen. My man. Try that.
Oof. Big tank. Big tank.
Oh no, that's just an armored car.
No! Oh, I had it, dude! Oh my god, I had it!
This really does give me like proper war feelings.
Oh, it definitely does. Like I watched a
Blame
small
it.
documentary about it, and they basically
Yeah,
said it's
Rich?
like this game. How did he say it? It's like
No, cover him, cover
logically in every single way this game should have failed, and it's growing.
Take it.
What's going on?
him. We need repair.
fuck,
Lock it,
look
lock it, lock it.
Look at the bodies, dude. Look, it's
It's alright, alright.
carnage.
Let's just rep it. We need to repair it.
This guy's taking some super fucking damage.
Yeah, they are trying to take the vehicle, but the engine is blown, so
Do we have reps?
they would have to repair it.
Ah, they destroyed it. Damn, it's alright.
Oh, feels so bad. You can choose which class you want to be, or can you be any class just by the
It's
gun
a-
that you equip?
Oh, no!
It's not a
Batman!
class. You equip whatever
I'm
weapon
so
you
sorry.
want.
Okay, so it's just normal foot soldier, and then you
Dude, it
get
won't
whatever
let me
gun you
stand
feel like
up when
getting,
I
and then
took the name.
go.
Yeah,
I'm so
they
sorry.
in the last update they introduced uniforms that helps you a bit with whatever you're doing, but you're still not
Oh,
locked to
I'm
them.
sorry.
So there's medic uniform, tanker uniform.
Oh, I'm
stuff like that.
sorry. Let's blame the person who
Scout
didn't realize
uniform.
that cooking a nade makes me unable to straighten my knees.
What? A grenade stops him from straightening his knees. What?
I think he died because he thought
Oh, dude, he just
there's
ran him
probably like
over.
a glitchy
Oh my
mechanic.
God. Block
He
by
wanted to
block,
throw a
moving through
grenade
corners and
by
secure buildings,
standing up,
only to have
but he
enemy
couldn't.
infantry
The
storm
game
in and
didn't
take
let
out a
him.
few of us at a
Oh,
time.
So he killed his
shit.
teammates.
Impossible sandbag lines would form in order to give us a small chance to hold the area. As we poured out suppressing fire and
shit.
grenades, cranes would follow behind us and drop emplacements, allowing us an
Oh, I
want
want to play this.
Fight.
Yep, I'm gonna play this. I'll probably play it offline because I don't think this would be necessarily a stream game.
Oh yeah, tell me when you're playing it. I'm gonna jump in as well.
Yeah, I'll let you know. We'll probably do this as a Discord game. Get some fuckers into Discord and just all hang out, shooting
we,
people.
We make a tank, or we borrow a tank from some regiment and roll up on the front line. For a tank crew, you have a driver,
Mhm.
you have commander, you have as many gunners as many guns are on the tank.
So you could build a beefy fucking tank.
Yeah, and then if you're the commander of the tank, you have to like lean out of the hedge to look with your binoculars and shit like that. People can actually snipe you out of them.
Oh shit. Cringe. It's called Foxhole. It's on Steam, I believe. It's called Foxhole. It's literally a top-down, like you can see here, sort of like an isometric shooter game. Pink Turkey, it really does look like the kind of game, like, you just want to take a couple of hours, hang out with your friends, and shoot some shit. You just go on Discord, hang out with your friends, and shoot some shit. And then, when you're done shooting some shit, you go play whatever other game you want to play.
Yeah, and then, whatever you do, it actually matters, and you can come back a few days later, it's like, wherever we were helping, the front actually pushed ahead, and stuff like that.
How long do wars last? Until one side wins?
I think on the website I sent you, there's an archive. It varies a lot, Usually updates come at the end of wars, not every time, but usually. And
But considering that this video is October 17th, 2021, so this was last year, and this is Foxhole War 83, how old is this game?
it's pretty old. I think it came out in. One sec. It came out in 2016.
So, then wars last incredibly fucking long, because Steam says 2017, according to Cranes, which means in 4 years, there's only been 83 wars in this game. Which should tell you wars last a while. It's not like a day and then it's done. It's like a couple of weeks.
It's anything
maybe.
between like 2 weeks and a month.
Yeah. Andy, that could also be possible. So maybe for the first year, there was only 2 people trying to capture the whole fucking map. So imagine 2 people running around, basically trying to capture every fucking point on the map.
It actually has a steady growth in player base, kinda, if you look at that.
Yeah, we're joking about this, Tolly, because
And
saying...
it used to be, the map used to be smaller. The last update actually introduced like 16 more zones.
Jesus.
Basically almost doubled it.
Okay, imagine if you didn't have enough people for this war. Just you and 2 other people trying to capture the whole map. And you're like, fucking hell. Where is everyone here? Where is everyone? And you just have one guy capturing it and another guy taking it as soon as you're off to the next spot.
At the very start, there was actually only one zone,
So they just keep adding shit. This is really cool.
Yeah, they introduce new vehicles, new weapons, all kinds of stuff, And it's asymmetric in the way that, it's the Wardens and the Colonials. They have completely different weapons and tanks.
Oh. So shall we do this, chat? Do you guys want to hang out on Discord one night and go to war? Hey, how much is the game? Probably cheap as shit, no?
It's early access. I know that, so it's not gonna be expensive. On Steam, it's 25 euros. It's not on discount anymore.
That's not much. That's fucking cheap as shit. 25 euros is good. That's a good amount of money for this game. It's a proper indie amount. How many players does it have? Do you know?
I sent you the Steam charts.
Oh.
It's fairly stable, I'd say.
Yeah, it's not like playing it at about 1,500 people playing. And for this map, based on the map size, as well as based on the fact that there is only one map, I think, for war per region, I would guess.
There used to be 2 shards. Like if you scroll up a bit, it says shard 1 and shard 2. But when they introduced the new maps, they removed the second shard.
So wait, is this basically there's one map for all regions?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what country you're in, you're playing on the exact same map
Yes.
as everyone else. Huh. But then that actually makes sense because the map is large, but not obviously. I think 1,500 people makes the map feel good, considering that they have these sort of capture points that you want to be in. So yeah, I'd say it's not the biggest game in the world, but it looks like a decent game. It's not a stream game. I wouldn't stream the game, but I would absolutely love hanging out on Discord and just playing this. It would be good fun. Just like we did with Valheim, where we just sort of hang out and play Valheim. Could be really fun. Yeah, I'd be up for this.
Right now, that type of front that you just saw in the video, like at any given time, there's in times like this, like
Yeah.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
There's probably at least 3 of those fronts on the entire map, and then like 10, 15 smaller fronts.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll definitely be up for giving it a go. I'd be up for giving it a go.
Yeah, tell me when you're playing.
I will do. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go get some food. It's 20 minutes past 7 here. I'm fucking hungry. It's been a busy week. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we can play some Lost Ark tomorrow. Like that would be the fucking dream. If we could play some Lost Ark tomorrow. If we can get into the game. So I'll probably log in as soon as I start the stream. And then sit in the queue for however many fucking hours that's gonna take. Well, I guess we'll see.
Getting queue before the stream. The game takes an incredibly long time to kick you if you're AFK. It's like more than an hour.
Jeff says no. What do you mean Jeff says no? Order. Race screen today, brother. Very important. Thank you. Amagon, thank you so much for hanging out, dude. Really appreciate it. I want to thank all of you for coming out, for hanging out with me, for spending your morning, your afternoon, your evening with me. It's been an incredible pleasure, as always. Degenerates, take care of yourselves. Be kind, not too kind. Be good, not too good. And I will see all of you tomorrow. Peace out, fam.